Don't know why my Logi webcam has audio, but whatever. All right, cool. So we're here getting started on our new campaign that we're going to be doing. It's going to be a 1 to 5, maybe 1 to 6 campaign, unless it turns out really, really good. Then we might go beyond that, about 10, 20 sessions. It's not too bad. That is between 3 and 4 months of commitment. So I know some of you don't have anything you're really doing at all, so it's all good. But just want to keep it manageable because I know a lot of people just don't know where they're going to be like a year from now. Plus, I'm looking to start at least one other game at some point. So I have 4 games in a week. That's my goal. So I need to find some more people as well. Plus, shorter campaigns are just really good for, uh, finding the right people for it because it's hard to know whether someone's going to be super flaky or not unless you play with them for a bit.
This is true, yes.
But let's go ahead. Um, I know most of us know each other, but I'm not sure how familiar you guys are with Bet and vice versa. So let's just go ahead and real quick, just say, and introduce yourself and just what experience you have with tabletop.
Who's going first?
I'll go first. Hello. Most people just call me Booter. The I've been playing D&D only 5e, but I've been playing that for quite a few years now. Um, I haven't ever gotten too far in a campaign. They've all just sort of fizzled out, but I hope to one day get far enough. Um, I've always been pretty interested in exploring other uh, systems too, so this will be fun.
All right, who's next?
Hi, I'm Taylor or Slug. Um, my experience basically is literally word for word what Booter said. Our experiences with D&D have been like pretty linked,
I
so
started before you though.
a little bit before, but yeah.
Okay, fair enough, fair enough.
Most people call me Bep, as in the name. Um, I've only actually been playing D&D for a little bit under a little bit over a year now. I have one long running campaign and another one is set to start soon. Um, I kind of got into the scene just from watching shows on YouTube and Twitch and was like, that looks like a fun game. And then somebody was like, hey, do you want to play this fun game? And I was like, yes, I want to play this fun game. I've only played Pathfinder once in a brief 1/2 shot. So hopefully I can pick it up and enjoy it just as much as I enjoy D&D.
All right, and I am the wonderful Cameron slash the DM or God, as I like to put myself in my games. I've been running games for like 20 years, give or take. Started really young, loved tabletop. Didn't really do a whole lot when I was younger, to be fair. That 20 years is more like 15 years, but it's a long time. I started back in my LARPing days because I did all the nerdy stuff. And I've always loved running games, Very rarely got to play, but I do get to play every once in a while. Hopefully, Vale's game starts someday, and I can play
One
in that
day it'll
game.
play.
And I recently got done with like a pretty long campaign, so I can't be too upset about it. But I just want to play more games. So fun. But anyway, I've been a DM for a really long day or a really long time, and I just want to share the experience with everyone else, and I want to be good at the game, and I've been putting a lot of effort. I've been just getting into making my own maps recently, and yeah, so I've been playing a lot of different systems. This is not my first. I played the first Pathfinder, but I've played probably about 7 systems in total altogether. I think the first one I started playing was like GURPS, and GURPS is crazy. You can get some crazy numbers in that.
Dang, you're living the life.
Well, it's because I'm the DM. I
That's
play as
true.
much as I run, so
That makes sense. I've become less of a DM as I've played more.
well, I do hope you guys enjoy. I know a lot of people like to talk up how I run, but you know, every person's different. Everyone likes to run their game differently. So I just want to make sure that I make a good game for y'all. We had some fun. We had some fun last time with Bep when we were doing our Edgelord game. That was a lot of fun.
Once I have a little more time to develop a character, I can get more in the zone, I promise.
Well, I mean, to be fair, you can't really get too into a character in a one shot. So
It's a little difficult.
it's a wee bit difficult, but it was okay. We had a fun time still. You guys dealing with that ghost was pretty fun. But uh so what we're going to be doing today is our session 0. The character sheets I handed out to y'all, you can find in the handout section on Roll20. It has a character sheet that we're going to be using because it automates everything, and we can use rolls through it, and it just makes the game and everything else much, much easier. But before we touch the character sheets, sorry, I need to drink more water apparently. We're going to be looking here at this map. I'm going to kind of tell you about each of these regions specifically. And this is going to be just free-form group effort for character creation. You know, so we can help each other out, give each other ideas, make interesting backstories together, ask questions. And we're just going to find out like what everyone would like to do as far as like what kind of game they'd like to play. So, we got this huge map here. It's got a lot of names on it. We're going to be playing in any of the regions that have the big blue names, so like the Saga Lands, Eye of Dread, the Broken Land, Shining Kingdoms. And I will start with whatever one catches one of your guys' eyes. So, whichever one you guys...
The Impossible Lands down at bottom right.
Impossible Lands, that's a fun one. So, the Impossible Lands are well known for its 2 major regions, which is Nex and Geb. They were essentially like 2 archmages that have had a long history and a long like rivalry together. Stuff has happened to both of them, but essentially Nex is like a high arcane city. They got lots of magic tech. They got lots of high magic facilities. You could even find public teleportation circles within their cities, which is really cool. Geb is a city of the undead. as the mage Geb, which it's named after, turned himself into a lich and has made a large city of mostly neutral undead. Mostly neutral. There's some evil ones, but they're mostly like lawful evil, so you know. For many, many years they have had, a battle between each other. Nex is currently deceased, but Geb is almost paranoid that he's going to return one day. Beyond that, there is the Mana Wastes, which is a huge zone. Here, let me get the book real quick. It's a huge zone that has pretty much the effects of Nex and Geb's many, many battles over the years, and so the territory has been completely warped by the magical and arcane effects that have happened. This has caused a mutation of its inhabitants and the creation of many, many monstrous individuals. Beyond that, there's the Shattered Range, which is a dwarf populated mountain range, which kind of borders the Mwangi Expanse. Nothing too crazy about the shattered range. Yeah, I don't even think it has a particular section here. Just a mountain range that has a small smattering of dwarven cities. And then there is Jalmare, which was another mage competitor back in the days, but they just could not stand against Nex, and they were rapidly defeated. It's kind of a part of the Nex region, but not 100% due to the distance and just how hard it is to control. Regardless, it does have some of the trappings of Nex. It has a lot of high arcane stuff, but Jalmare was also a eastern region, or at least like the people came from the east, so it has a lot of that kind of standard Chinese, Japanese kind of architecture to it, and they have the Omioji and their own kind of style of arcane magics over there. It's also the home of the House of Perfection, which are individuals who seek enlightenment through mastery of ki. There's a lot more I could go into, but that's kind of the brief overview of that region.
Sounds cool.
What about the Mwangi Expanse next to it?
The Mwangi Expanse is a super fun region. It is obligatory jungle region, essentially. It is a vast nation of a wide variety of interconnected jungles, wide spaces. It is probably one of the most unsettled regions. Like, there's not a lot of actual settlements there. It has a lot of native tribe-like individuals living there. The Sodlands, for instance, are very populated with lizard folk. The Blood Cove has a strong Naga population. It is the place where you'll find dinosaurs. It is the place where you have a lot of the very African-themed kind of culture styles, and also where you will find the Magambia, which is a particular style of magecraft where they have blended arcane and primal magics together, and they have formed a very strong society with it. They are very community based, and thus many of the individuals there are interconnected in a lot of ways, and a lot of people you meet, you can get like information of different regions or different areas. It's a very proud nation, but they highly respect nature as kind of just the natural flow of things. And so they don't overbuild if necessary. They allow their cities to become overgrown with fauna and flora. And it's a region that has its ups and downs with its closeness to primal, the natural world. While they have a lot of good primal magics and they can do a lot of great things with that, there's also, dangerous monsters in the region, dangerous beasts. The jungle is a very dangerous place. Even the smallest of creatures can kill you there. There's also a variety of supernatural events that have occurred in the region and has caused some areas to become even more crazy and wild. It's also a region that has a strong connection to the First World, and the First World is kind of like the Fey realm for Pathfinder. So gnomes are like natives from the First World that kind of came to Galarian, and thus there are some places where you can find fickle Fey, and they're like that cause many problems. And it's actually one of the bigger regions, and so it's kind of hard to talk about everything they have. But if you want a really strong like jungle endeavor, if you want to explore the connections between arcane and primal magics, if you like dinosaurs, that's going to be the region for you.
And I love this region actually.
It's a really good one.
It's hard
It
to
does
say no
sound
to
very good.
a jungle and dinosaurs.
That's
I
very
know.
true.
Well, you guys can make a choice now, or you guys can ask around about some of the other ones.
Do we just say fucking and go dinosaurs?
I don't know, do we? What if we miss out something cool?
That's true. Okay, you guys both picked one, so I guess I'll do one just in case.
Pick one, just in
Um,
case.
How about the Saga Lands, all the way top left?
The Saga Lands are one of my favorites.
Ooh.
This was one of the in the first edition. This was one of the primary regions. So the Saga Lands is kind of split up between two major kind of cultures. There's Variscia, and there's uh, like the Linorm King lands. Now, a Linorm is a serpentine dragon. They are not quite as like magical as dragons can be, but they make up for it in brutality and ferocity. And the lands of the Linorm Kings are people who go out and fight these things to become the ruler, essentially. There's also the Mammoth Lands, which is like the whole northern region is super cool because it's Vikings, it's people who fight like these dragon-like beasts. There's mammoths. Then there's Irisen, and Irisen is also really cool. It's a region that's been heavily influenced by Baba Yaga, and it's the home of the Winter Witches. Predominantly women who learn varieties of magics from Baba Yaga and have controlled the region for centuries doing so. Variscia is really cool. You see a region called New Thassalon there. Back long before most of what has happened, there's a kingdom called Thassalon. It's kind of like your stereotypical country of mages, They were a high, super advanced magic civilization back in their time. But there's this big event called Earthfall that was going to occur. That was a devastating event that reshaped the face of Galarian. So these members known as the Rune Lords, which were like 7 archmages, found varieties of ways to kind of beat death and kind of survive the clash. But due to the sheer immensity of Earthfall, many of them could not revive until more recent in the lore. I think it was like 100 or 200 years ago. They came back and started to try to take over until adventurers came and stopped them. But many of the New Thessalonians that are living there also were like sealed away for centuries, and then they came back into the New World, and so they're kind of quickly adapting to how things are done nowadays. They're also the region that was they're the founders of arcane tattoos. So you can get arcane tattoos that let you do small magics, like once a day, or some of them give you cantrips and all that kind of stuff. So it's a region of Vikings, and then like magic, kind of Eastern flavored uh, culture.
See, that sounds cool too.
There's a lot of really cool regions here. Feel free to ask away, and if we have to, we'll make a roll, as all good tabletoppers do.
Now I'm scared to pick one because we were pretty sold on the last one, and then this one came out, and it was cool too.
I really want to ask about the Broken Lands, mainly for Sarkora's Scar.
Well, you have a good eye. 1 second. Sorry, wanted to hop onto the actual Twitch stream. So the Broken Lands are really, really interesting. It's a region that has suffered a lot in recent times. Uh, the Sakara Scar was once known as the World Wound, as it was a region that had been split open and was actually a portal to the Abyss. So the Sakara Scar is full of demons. Even after it was sealed long ago, there's still a large number of demons that kind of inhabit that region. Numeria, just slightly south of that, is a region that is starships crashed in the region, as Starfinder is actually a part of the Pathfinder world lore, or at least universe lore. And so it's a region that has heavy radiation from some of the starships that fell there. But it's also the home region of androids, as yes, you can play androids as one of the races in this game. And androids have some cool lore to them as well. Though during the time that many of them were like waking back up after the crash and everything, these kind of tribal individuals, the native Numerians, went in and kind of conquered the entire region. They took all the spaceship parts, which is called star metal, and they've crafted great gear. Star metal actually turns into either adamantine or orichalcum. So that's kind of where that stuff comes from. Is orichalcum and adamantine are actually space metals that have fallen onto Galarian, and so the region is kind of inhabited by these kind of barbaric individuals with swords that are super sharp that can cut through metal. And some of the ships even have like active protection drones. One of the images in the book is really cool. Let's see if I can find it here. It shows like some barbarian like people fighting robots. If you're not watching the stream, I guess you can't see it. Let's see. How can I... Let's see, 1 second. I try to look up art and there's more robots fighting. That's super funny. There are so many scenes of robots fighting, but not the one that's in the book. Where is it? Well, you know what? This one works. So there should be a handout you can click. But yeah, you see this dude there with a sword and axe fighting Robo Scorpion with lasers. And you can
With
actually
a
see
sword and an axe.
with a sword and axe, and you can actually
That's
see
awesome.
a fallen starship in the background there. Yeah, but see, the thing is, his sword and axe and his armor is probably made of like adamantine or orichalcum. And orichalcum is really interesting. Orichalcum has time warping properties. If you have orichalcum armor and it gets damaged or broken, it'll repair itself over the course of a day.
Oh my, that's
Oh,
fucking
nice.
sick.
So there's that, and then adamantine is just incredibly hard, sharp armor, and it does extra damage to constructs. So yeah, and that's not even all that's in this region. There's also Razmaran. So Razmaran is kind of an interesting point to talk about, as it brings in the notion of, in Pathfinder there is a way that mortals can ascend to godhood. There's a variety of ways, but the predominant way is, if we go down here to Absalom, which is at the Inner Sea region, there is a temple called the Starstone Temple, and it was brought up from the bottom of the sea by a god named Erodin way back in the day. Those who pass the challenges of the Starstone Temple attain godhood. There has been a handful of of cases, and some of the world's current lore and has some gods. There's Caden Callion, who is this drunk mercenary guy of good report. Like he was a really good mercenary. He's a high level character, and he went in drunkenly, past the Starstone Temple, became the god of beer, brews, and adventure. There's Norgrovor, who was this individual. No one knows what he is there. He's a very mysterious god who, when then there, became the god of like murder, death, and a variety of other nasty things. There's Emodia. She was a paladin at the time. She went in. She became essentially like the goddess of knights, chivalry, following faith, and all that kind of stuff. She worked very closely with Eredin before his demise. And Razmarin is another one that has this masked god named Razmir, or at least he claims to be a god and is currently spreading his religion about. And not all is known about him, other than he's very, very forcefully pushing his religion on surrounding regions. Brevoy is one of the, up kind of further north of that, is kind of one of the regions that he's helping out a lot, because he'll go in, and in the very poor neighborhoods, they'll give a lot of aid. They'll build, like facilities for the poor to use, and it's all in the name of Razmir. So it's either a guy who wants to be a god and is becoming god another way, or a young god, a new god who's trying to build a faith, because the more followers one has, the stronger the god becomes. And then there's the River Kingdoms in the center area, and the River Kingdoms is just a bunch of duchies, small little nations, or not nations really, but like kingdoms, I guess, that are constantly fighting with each other. And thus it's very heavy political turmoil in that particular area. And they're called the River Kingdoms because there's a variety of rivers that kind of run from the Lake of Mists and Vales down through towards like the Shining Kingdoms. And so water commerce, a lot of banditry goes on in this region. There's actually a city called Daggermark, which is kind of like rogue HQ in a sense. They got like a poisoners guild there. They got all kinds of stuff. Like if you want to work the underside, you go to Daggermark.
Well, I'm not going to be any help because I suck at choosing things.
Oh, I'm the worst at choosing things.
Well, we can continue. I can give you more explanations, or we can go to. We can just pick out the ones you want the most and make a die roll.
I'm kind of partial to Saga Lands.
I'm partial to dinosaurs.
I am partial to Saga Lands as well, but I also like dinosaurs, so I don't know.
Yeah, I'm fine with any of them, really.
All right.
Should we flip a coin between dinosaurs and Vikings?
Dinosaurs in the Saga Lands. I will state that the backgrounds I'm going to have you guys pick from will be from these regions. It'll just help you with your character creation as well. So, not that you can't pick from other regions or characters like with other kind of themes and concepts, but I'm going to recommend doing so just to give you guys kind of a head start.
I really like the Saga Lands.
It was my second choice. We can go Saga Lands.
All right, Saga Lands it is. Fun, fun. All right, so the Saga Lands. Ugh. And this part is going to require the most kind of cooperation amongst you all because character creation is hard. People, this game has a lot of choices, a lot of choices, and we're gonna be going over the ABCs of character creation. But right now, we're just gonna kind of talk about like general kind of concepts or ideas you guys want to go with, so I can kind of guide your hand on the things you want to do. Currently, this game has 16 classes. Not only that, but I'm using the free archetype, or the free archetype dedication optional rule. But the archetype dedications I'm going to have you guys take will be non-multi-class or non-class archetype dedications, which means that you're going to pick from the ones that are like your character was a vigilante or a Viking or whatever. So every time you would gain a class feat, you also gain a bonus feat from a non-class archetype. So it'll allow you guys to have very flexible and dynamic characters. And it sounds like a lot. Bard pack. Sounds like a lot, but I guarantee this will be easy once you kind of get a good idea. And just to kind of give you the brief kind of like experience I've had with the character creation and everything like that, your characters can be very dynamic. Two characters from the same class can be so different that you couldn't recognize them. Recently for a game, I had two characters to pick from. One was a down on his luck farmer dude who forsook the gods because his whole village died and decided to dip into the occult to find a way of helping people without relying on the power of gods. Went, found an angel's body, chopped it up, turned it into a living grimoire, and can now use magic. And his body is being slowly suffused with celestial energy. That's a witch. That's a witch character. The character I think I'm going with is a tall, lanky, skinny guy. His mom left his dad like very painfully a long time ago, and for some reason now his twin sister has gone missing. And in actuality, he is a changeling or a slagmay is what they're called. And changelings in this one don't actually change, strangely enough. They're just the children of hags and other creatures. And so he has the abilities of an Annis hag, which Annis hags are brutal non-caster hags that just rip people to shreds. And his sister has submitted to the call, which is this mostly female changelings are subjected to, where they go find their mother and a ritual is done to turn them into a hag. And he's a Devil May Cry style character where he just does really cool shit because of his enhanced abilities from his hag heritage. And the cooler he is, the better his abilities get. And that's a swashbuckler. So those are just two examples of characters that you can make in this game that like have a class but don't really follow that class as like closely. There's nothing wrong with following a class archetype closely, especially when you're new to a system and you just kind of want to go easily into it. But it's important to know that your character is not like limited by the class as far as your story is concerned. So, talking about the Saga Lands here, you got two halves. You got Variscia and New Thassalon, and you got the Lenorn Kings or the Mammoth Lands, Irison at the top. Which are you guys kind of more interested in?
I have no idea.
I'm interested personally in the stuff kind of in the northern half of
Yeah,
the
I think
Saga
that's where I'm
Lands.
leaning to.
Same.
Okay. Nice. That's really good. The region is huge, and we'll probably be going to a few places, but it's good to kind of focus on a particular section of the region. And a lot of these locations, I think you can look up on Archives and Ethos. Maybe not. Let me check. Nope, you can't look it up in Archive and Ethos. Interesting. It's fine. You'll get to explore it with everyone, or you can find other ways of getting the information, I'm sure. But is there any kind of classes you guys are thinking about?
I have a class in mind. I'm thinking Oracle.
I will say the Oracle's really rough,
From
especially
what I've
for
looked
new
into,
players.
that's what I thought.
Yeah, I mean, if it's a good character idea, I'm all for it. Oracle is just a class that does some interesting things, but pays some interesting prices. And
Yeah.
it's a lot of extra stuff on top of, like, they don't even get like a major benefit for their negative sides. They just get some interesting things. Like if you're a fire oracle, for instance, you can just like start smoking and you become concealed, but everything becomes concealed from you. So it's like people have a hard time hitting you, but you have a hard time doing literally anything else. It's really interesting. Uh, Oracle, and I will say that like the two classes I don't recommend starting with is Oracle and Alchemist. Alchemist is a very fun class, but it's a class that you are going to have way more homework and way more going on than I would recommend a new player to start with. I like them, but it's a very advanced kind of class as far as like what you do. Oracle is just, it's not a hard class per se, but you're going to come across unique challenges due to your curse.
Yeah, I was looking into it. That kind of interested me. Just having not great uh, magic with the back draws and stuff.
There's some fun ones. I know a lot of people
Yeah.
really like the ancestral mystery, where your ancestors are just constantly arguing in your head and give you random abilities every now and then at the cost of being heavily distracted. Yeah, if that's what you want to go with, though, we'll definitely make it work.
Yeah. The other class I was thinking of was Swashbuckler.
Swashbuckler is pretty cool. It's pretty much Devil May Cry if they turned it into a D&D character.
Yeah.
I was thinking of possibly a witch.
It's a good region to have witch.
I know, that's what
It's
you
a
said
really
that,
good
and I was like,
region.
ooh.
The
I
Irison
was
Winter Witches are really cool. Sorry, go
I
ahead.
was planning on filling because I have no idea what class to pick.
Well,
Just roll
Oracle.
a D16.
Yeah. D16. There you go. You didn't even roll 2d8 because I don't recommend taking number 1 because that's Alchemist anyway, so you have a minimum 2. Let's see. I believe Oracles. I haven't looked too much into Oracles, so this is going to be. Yep, they're a Divine Spellcaster. So you're going to have the Divine spell list. Doesn't mean you're necessarily the healer of the group.
Yeah.
But you do get a lot of beneficial abilities or abilities that are kind of evil. And the good thing is, as an Oracle, you don't really have any hangups about that. So
Yeah. Yeah, from what I looked into, they like draw their power from the space between gods realms and stuff, and not like a god themselves.
they can draw their powers from a lot of different things. They can you can get your abilities from like the concept of like the universe and the macrospection of it, to the point where you realize that everything around you is pointless because it's so minuscule in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah.
It's a crazy one. It's a wild one for sure. And uh, a witch with either the patrons of winter or patron of the Baba Yaga are either an occult or primal caster. Winter being primal, Baba Yaga being occult. So we got 2 castery types. If Slug, you wanted to pick something that was, I mean, even if you picked a caster, I'll make it work for you guys. It doesn't really matter. But if you're looking to fill, this group is lacking some beef.
What's
We're
the
just all
difference between
squishy
a
wizards.
champion and a fighter?
Champion and a fighter. So the champion is the essentially paladin class in the game. They are defensive fighters that get divine abilities. They're really cool because there's a variety of types of champions you can pick from. And then they get their divine ally, which can be either a mount, a weapon, or a shield. They got some fun stuff. Fighters are fighters, but in Pathfinder, fighters are super interesting because there's so many builds just based on the type of weapons your character focuses on. Fighter is one of those classes where you don't get enough feats because there's so many really good feats to pick from.
I mean, you can't go wrong with divine fighters like paladins, champions.
Fair. Though I will state, especially because a lot of you play 5th edition, they're not smite machines like they are in 5th edition. They don't have the same kind of firepower. But they do get some smiting abilities, and you can orientate your champion to be a champion of a particular type, to just fuck over a specific type of enemy. They're also an interesting roleplay class because they have various edicts, and they can actually add edicts on top of the ones they start with, meaning that your character will have a whole bunch of codes of conduct that they follow, which can be really strong for, which can be really good for like a good character story because it kind of tells itself in a sense. Not only that, but if you go into like god domains, there's so many different domains that give so many different kinds of extra spell abilities that are really good that a lot of champions can be very, very different. I'm actually going to be introducing a champion to one of my other Pathfinder group here shortly, and it's going to be really interesting.
Do they have access to healing?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think all of them start with lay on hands.
Okay. I'll go a champion then.
Okay, so we got a champion, a witch, and an oracle. This is a strangely religious game.
It's about
But
to
from
get
different
real religious up
perspectives.
in here.
It's not
We're
even
coming
like
here.
the same religion. Like one's a god, one is a concept, and the other one possibly a witch.
It's going to be one very strange crusade we're going on.
Okay. So we're gonna go ahead and start with the ABCs of character creation, and we're gonna start with ancestry, which is A. So the best I recommend is going to Archive and Nethys and going to the ancestry section. It's where you're gonna find the best kind of lists. And in Pathfinder, your ancestry or your race essentially is actually made of two halves. You have your ancestry and your heritage. Now, most ancestries have in them heritages, but you can also take a versatile heritage, which means that your character is like a dwarf and also maybe a Ifrit, Ifrit geniekin, or a dwarf vampire, or maybe an elf tiefling. There's a lot of fun stuff you can do. In fact, in one of our games that didn't go all the way through, sadly, one of the players was playing a rat folk or Yozoi tiefling. So he was a rat folk with hoof legs, and he was an oracle of I can't even remember. It was like the vast emptiness or whatever. And so he just kind of subtly floated everywhere because he was just made almost weightless. And his eyes looked like galaxies. He was kind of and he had hoofs for legs. He was a very strange character. Cosmic mystery.
Are there any ancestries that you as the DM don't want or that we wouldn't find in this region of the world?
So I will say, with everything in this game, and you will see in different sections like uncommon or even rare mentions. It's all upon approval. Most of it I'm okay with because they're all like designed by the game company or whatever. And I can't honestly think of anything that I would say doesn't work. Other than if the ancestry is going to make your character play like a douchebag, don't do it. If you can't play an orc without being an obnoxious, loud, dumb character, probably don't play an orc. Granted, dumb characters are not necessarily bad, and I've seen it done well many times. But I'm just saying, like, if your character choice makes your character not fun to play with other people, don't do it.
The two I'm looking at are Leshy and Fleshwarp.
Both are good. Also, man, you're just gonna make the weirdest character
Yeah.
We're gonna
you
have some
can
fucked up
manage. So
I looked through all
leshies,
of them, and they really stood out.
leshies are really fun. I really like them because they're kind of like they were like druid companions or familiars at one point
They're little plant dudes.
that just gain sentience. And the fungal fleshies are really interesting. You can play like a vampire shroom leshy. It's really fun. I love the gourd head leshies because they can just store items inside their gourd head because they don't have actual organs. They're spirits inhabiting plants. And then flesh orbs are just people who are barely people anymore. Their bodies have been so radically transformed by their magic or alchemy that they're just kind of a monster. But it can be really cool. You can turn your limb into a weapon, and then you can even get abilities later that enhance that weapon and make it more dangerous.
What the fuck?
Yeah, I always pick the most fun options, Slug. You should know that.
So the flesh orbs are really cool. But this is actually a really good region for Leshy because you could pick all kinds of like winter plants. You could be like a hollyberry, or you could even be like a mistletoe uh, Leshy, which would be super unique and very like regionally specific. Be kind of cool, especially because that means that you probably came from some kind of like shamanistic druid of the north. A lot of cool backstory with that.
Yeah.
Granted, I don't know how you can have a flesh warp and not have an interesting backstory. So
That's true.
I think I'm gonna go with catfolk,
ooh, catfolk.
specifically a snow leopard variety,
Okay.
cause cold.
It is cold, yeah. So are you just going straight catfolk, winter catfolk?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Will be very helpful. So are you planning on then going winter patron witch, or are you planning going Baba Yaga?
I'm not fully decided. I'm leaning towards Baba Yaga just because there's the established culture in the area, so it would make more sense for being up there.
True. It's just kind of your pick between whether you want to use primal magics or occult magics.
How would you describe the difference?
Primal magics are predominantly elemental affecting things. They often create specific things or they do damage. I'd say primal is probably one of the highest damage focused magic trees, just because you get things like fireball, lightning bolt, you know, cone of cold, all that kind of stuff. Really, really good. It lacks some utility that some of the other ones do. Occultism is very mental based, and almost all their abilities are mental. You get some weird spells kind of mixed in with it, though, which can make it really fun. Uh, like having an Iron Maiden that will suck the blood out of someone and give you health and all that kind of stuff. But occultism is one where you have a lot of mental magics, you affect people mentally, or you do weird shit. And primal magics is, you know, wall of fire, fireball, lightning bolt, all that kind of stuff. So if you want to be like an elemental caster, primal is the way to go. If you want to do mental mostly / weird shit, occultism.
Okay. I'll probably go with winter then, just because the idea that I have forming in my head that is what makes more sense. Still a very skin and bones kind of idea, but
Okay. So as you guys, well, actually, Slug, what are you thinking?
Whichever one Booter's not gonna go with his two.
you're both
Fair.
gonna pick the weird stuff.
Both
Yes.
gonna go strange. All right. I
Those two
can't
are.
wait for the man with the screaming chest.
The cat, the man with the screaming chest, and the plant.
Slug, I have no idea which one I'm going. You should look into them, and if one sticks out to you, I'll go the other one.
Oh no! Don't do this to each
Fight,
other, guys.
fight.
Taking Leshy.
You're
Okay.
doing Leshy?
I like the pictures on the page.
Okay.
Fair.
I was struggling because I was reading through Leshy and I was like, I have so many ideas for what I can do with this and I like it, but I couldn't let go of Flesh War.
Oh look, they have like almost a hollyberry looking one on there too. I think it's like a strawberry leshy, but still.
Little strawberry.
Well, alrighty. So, pop up your character sheets, and when you open it up, obviously just go to the character sheet tab.
I don't have a character sheet tab.
What?
I just
I
have
don't think
bio
I
and
do.
Oh
info.
gosh darn it! I didn't let you guys edit it. 1 second.
Let me in.
Let me in.
Let me in. There we go. Now I have a character sheet.
All right, y'all should be clear.
There we go.
So, where are the heritages? Do not all of the things
So
have
at
them?
the top of the screen, you on the Archives of Nethys, right underneath the big fonts, there's little fonts, and you can click the specific heritages. Or you can go to versatile heritage, and you could play a damn fire leshy and be a blood sucking plant person. It's great.
I feel like I almost have to pick winter cat folk.
Oh, I thought that's what you were going with.
I didn't know that was an option.
Oh yeah, no.
But now I do.
That's the spot I thought you meant specifically. So I was like, okay, cool,
Nope, that's what we're doing though.
awesome. Big poofy Norwegian snowcat right here.
Snow leopard, very elegant.
I almost prefer your character to just be this big. Have you seen Norwegian
Just a big-
snowcats?
Yes, a Norwegian forest cat.
Yeah, the Norwegian forest cats are great. Just big poofy
Massive.
face.
Just a Maine Coon.
You just look like a tank of a cat person. Actually, I'm going to hop over to Flesh Orb because I think that's what I'm going to need to help the most with. So, on your character sheets, you're going to go over to the Feats tab. And under your ancestry feats and abilities, we're going to start putting our stuff in. Unfortunately, a lot of this stuff, I have a compendium that you can type stuff in and drag onto your character sheet. Ancestry stuff, not much, or at least not unless you're picking the standard races from the core book, which no one does. So we're just going to have to put them in by hand.
I was gonna say it pops up winter cat folk, but it will not let me click and drag.
Yeah, that'll happen too. So,
Oh well.
So, how does a versatile heritage flesh warp work? Is it like they were once that and now they're a flesh warp?
That's a good question. That's a very good question. Uh Possibly, yes. You could be two different people spliced together into a single consciousness too.
That is pretty cool.
Because the as it says in the flesh warp section, flesh warp is an umbrella term. it mostly just refers to those who have had their physicality changed by alchemy or magic or what have you. And you were one thing, or maybe you were nothing before, and now you are. You could have just come from like a beaker tube one day and just grown into a full grown adult with, a screaming pelvis. Flesh warps are weird. Okay.
Yeah, I chose a hard one. I can see.
It's not necessarily hard. The only hard part is just deciding what kind of freak you are.
Yeah, I'm looking through all of them, and it's ooh. How would a flesh warp choose one of the versatile heritages without the regular flesh warp heritage?
Well, that's easy. You don't take the flesh warp heritage, and you instead take the versatile one. So
I
essentially, what
guess you
it
pick the
is,
general flesh warp at that point, not
yeah,
like
essentially
specifically
is
one of
what it
the.
is. At the bottom of the general of the flesh warp main page is your all the features you get for being a flesh warp, and then your heritage just adds on top of that. So speaking of, we're gonna go ahead and do some of the stuff that I know, even without selecting a heritage, y'all can do. So, and Bep, you already know this for the most part, so I'm gonna just believe in you and leave you to your
Oh no.
business.
I don't know if that's a good idea.
If you need help, I will come in and help. But first, let's do this in order so that we can get this done and have as little error as possible. So I need everyone to go back to their character tab on their character sheet, and we're gonna adjust your ancestral hit points. So you're gonna go over to your hit points on the right side towards the top. You're gonna click the little cogwheel next to max, and it's gonna say ancestry. You're gonna put whatever your hit points for your ancestry is under your race mechanics.
There it is. I hate starting out at low levels. We're all so squishy.
Yeah, well, and you also pick squishy
I know I picked
classes.
squishy.
Are you having trouble finding the hit point slug?
No, I got it.
Okay. All right. Size is done at the top. The only one who has a different size is going to be Slug. She's going to be small. You're going to be goblin sized.
Woo.
Lidl.
Next, scroll down just on the left hand side. We're going to put in your speed. I think for everyone it's going to be 25.
Gotta go fast, but not too fast.
And it's in this section as well that you will put any extra movement feats that you may get. I do know that like catfolk, for instance, get the ability to climb if you take the proper feats. So next we're going to go into ability boosts. Now ability boosts are always going to be 2 points unless you have a skill of 18 or higher, and then they're going to be 1 point. Whenever you select an ability boost, you cannot, for any one feature, you cannot select the same ability twice. Some of the ancestries will have a negative feature. So with that, it's going to be a -2. You're just going to click the cogwheel next to the ability score, which is on the top of the left hand side. And typically, most of you are going to have at least one for your race. The Leshy here, or for your ancestry, the Leshy here has 2, con and wisdom, and then it has a flaw in intelligence. You can put your free boost, which is the one that you can put in anything, into your intelligence if you decide to.
Okay. So I can put 3 plus 2s in?
Yes, because you have
Okay.
1 in con, 1 in wisdom, and then a free one. But you also have a -2 to your intelligence, unless you use your free one to make it back to 0.
Okay.
Just so I remember I'm doing this right, the base is 10, and then if you get the bonus, you add 2 to it. So if I have a bonus in Dex, it would go up to 12.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, it's only until you hit 18. Once it hits 18, it's 1 per, but that won't happen on character creation. It's impossible to have a ability score above 18 during character creation.
And then if you have
So, peanut butter.
flaw,
If you have a flaw, it'll be an 8.
okay.
I see you put 2 in your con. You can only have 1. Oh, why do you have a mod temp?
I have
You should
no
change
idea.
the score base.
I probably did something bad.
Yeah, I think you changed the wrong one. Score base should be 12. There you go.
There we go.
Now you can pick one of anyone you want.
Yeah.
That's
I'll
not
probably
con.
put it in charisma unless something else I chose gives it to me.
You'll get multiple ability boosts, as we'll see as we're going through here. But definitely invest in the stats that you're going to use a lot. All right. Beyond that, we'll have languages. Excuse me. We'll do languages at the end. Please remind me, though, if I forget. Because you get a number based on your intelligence modifier, but we're not done with ability boosts yet. Now I'm going to have everyone go to your feats tab. And we're going to put in whatever special abilities that your race may give you. For instance, the Leshy gives plants nourishment. And what you can just do is just copy all that information and then paste it into your description section. And then you can take plant nourishment and copy that into the name section. Flesh Orb has unusual anatomy. There's that. And then I forgot to have you guys change your light. I think everyone gets low light. Unless the catfolk gets dark vision.
No.
Which you'll put in the senses tab underneath your perception on the character sheet.
So my unusual anatomy will go under abilities or attribute?
It's going to be on the feats tab. But first, before that, because you're on that front page anyway right now, go ahead and go to your senses real quick on the right-hand side underneath your perception. Hit the little plus marker and put low light.
So anything special we have goes where? I'm sorry. I know you've already said it like 7 times, but...
No worries. If you have a special sense, it goes underneath your perception section. You hit the little plus marker there. Under senses, it'll go there. You just have to type low light.
Should I put... I have land on my feet. Would that go under movement?
Land on your feet. What does it do?
When I fall, I only take half normal damage and don't land prone.
That'll go under your abilities. So that's under your ancestry, feats, and ability section.
Okay.
So you go over to that first tab on the left-hand side, hit the plus marker. That's where you're going to put your racial ability. I like how the flesh warps. Your anatomy is so weird that it's just really hard for you to get sick or be poisoned.
Yeah.
Like, the disease isn't the poison, just doesn't know where to go. It's just like, fuck, I passed like the 3rd ventricle down here. Where the hell am I? The left foot? That's not right.
I thought I was supposed to turn left 2 exits ago.
I think you want to paste that into your description section, not your trait section. I can't wait to see what your character actually looks like.
I'm sure it'll be fun.
That's a word to describe it. All right.
Indeed.
Heritages. Now, unless you have a very particular versatile heritage you want to take, I do recommend, since it's your first time, just using the normal ones for your race. But far be it from me to prevent you guys from having fun. An ASMR flesh warp would be fun, if not weird.
I feel like that just makes it more terrifying.
Exactly.
Flying flesh
God
warp.
says hello.
This is gonna be a weird party.
It really is. And for most of those, what you'll just do is you'll just post them under your ancestry feat and abilities section with the name of your heritage at the top. Gonna use the restroom real quick, so feel free to talk amongst yourselves.
I think I have to go with ASMR.
This ungodly creation.
Exactly.
God.
It was either that or Aphorite, which is just from the plane of law.
Is it worth it to just um like every day get a +2 to 1 skill of my choice? Like just make a skill, get the trained proficiency rank.
I have no idea.
Is it worth it?
Yeah, my level 1 feat.
I mean, I don't know what your other options are, so
Uh,
it sounds
uh,
pretty good.
the other one the 2 I'm looking at is where is it? Is a +1 circumstance bonus to saving throw against a spell or magical effect. Or where is the other one? Trained proficiency in nature and stealth
You're looking at the feats.
and
Did you pick a
fleshy
heritage
lore.
already?
Don't work ahead.
Oh wait, no, I didn't. Oops.
Well, yeah, it's important because if you pick a versatile heritage, then you can pick feats from your heritage and the versatile heritage. So,
Okay.
granted, if you're just a leshy, then, it's whatever. But leshy has some fun ones. I like the cacti fleshy. Don't know why that would be up here in the north, but You can make a potato leshy.
That's amazing.
Oh my god.
What?
Slug, I
What?
hope you know you've robbed me of my potato leshy oracle.
You're welcome. What's a critical success is just like rolling a natural 20.
So it's two things, actually. A critical success is a natural 20, or beating any DC by 10.
Uh, okay.
Similarly, a critical failure is a nat 1 or failing any DC by 10.
Okay.
Some of these feats are very vague in their descriptions.
Did you pick a ancestry yet? Or a heritage, sorry?
I think I have one in mind. I'm looking at Aphorite.
The Aphorite. Okay.
But I don't know what like a single one of these feats actually means.
Sure, we can go over that. In what feat section are we talking?
I'm looking at the Aphorite feats.
Okay, and you can always click the names as well to get a more accurate description. But which one are you looking at?
I wasn't looking at anyone in particular, just in general.
So, for instance, like let's look at internal cohesion. Order suffuses your body and maintains coherency. So when you click that and it opens it up, you and your allies can use treat wound. You and your allies can use treat wounds without a healer's tools. Oh, okay. They got that. Treat your wounds. So your allies can actually treat your wounds without the need of healer's tools as long as they have medicine as a trained proficiency. And then once per day, when someone rolls a failure or critical failure on a treat wounds on your character, you can focus on your internal cohesion to increase the degree of success by 1 step. So even if they would normally fail, you can actually just make it a success once per day.
Nice. I will never die.
Well, now that you put that in the universe,
Cam, I'm telling you now, you can't kill me physically. It's impossible. And that's a challenge.
Okay. You guys are going to be really close to a bunch of Linorms, so I'd like to see you survive that.
I am infamous for making reckless challenges to my DMs.
Oh, he is.
One of the ideas in the chat was to be a Christmas tree Leshy.
I said don't. I'll use you as a scratching post.
Worth.
What is the society skill used for?
Society is for any skill that kind of relates to peoples and cultures. So, for instance, if you were to try to decipher a code, that would use your society skill. If you were trying to get your whereabouts in a city and navigate a city, that'd use your society. If you want to roll any kind of knowledge roll on a humanoid creature, it would probably be society. I totally forgot Slug was also playing a champion as well. So I can't wait to see this champion Leshy. That's a little potato. Or whatever heritage you pick.
I think I've decided on a root.
Potato!
A root.
Yeah,
A root
root
Leshy.
Leshy.
Carrot.
Okay. Well, then you'll need to change your hit points for your ancestry from 8 to 10. And then the rest of this, just copy it and paste it into your feet section under Root Leshy, so you can get all the information. And you can actually hit the arrow right next to plant nourishment to close that. And you can go 2 weeks without starving.
Whoa.
Just eat yourself.
Well, Leshy's sit in the sunlight to eat.
Should I go created flesh warp to just one up your Leshy mate? Because
No.
if I go created flesh warp, I literally don't need to eat. Can't
Dude.
starve at all.
Okay.
I think I'm gonna go mutated flesh warp.
Okay.
Just keeping it simple.
It's a really good one as well. So just copy and paste that into your ancestry feat section there. Reading this is so funny. Flesh warps are great. Due to your toughened or redundant organs, the DC checks to recover from persistent
Toughened
bleeding.
or redundant?
Yeah.
That's definitely how I describe my organs.
Yeah, and he's like, ah, damn, you got me in the heart. Good thing I have 3 more.
This ability doesn't have a name.
You just put your heritage at the top there.
I see. I was tempted to just call it toughened or redundant organs.
Now, for some of you, you got like different abilities that might refer to certain kinds of checks. So, like for instance, for the root Leshy, go back to the character page, and under your saving throws, just hit the cogwheel there to pop that up. And in the notes section, you can actually post that there, so that whenever you roll that fortitude check, that note will appear underneath it, so you know you get a bonus. And if you want, you can just copy the section that says you get a bonus. I'll just copy and paste the last 2 lines of it. Yep, good. So every time you hit fortitude, that'll pop up, and you'll see it whether you remember it or not. The persistent bleed one, you're just going to have to remember, unfortunately, in Booter.
Easy enough.
You just roll a flat check for that. But it's super good because bleed happens, and bleed can suck. Because unless you roll a 15 on a flat D20 roll, which is a 25% chance, your character will continue losing health every round. But you have a 50% chance of removing it.
Yeah.
So
apparently my blood is like purple and has the consistency of honey, so it's fine.
Great, I hate it. Alrighty, so now that we got our heritages down, we're going to go to backgrounds, which is the B of our AVCs.
Oh god, this is the one that had all the options.
Yes, so that's why I am going to recommend you guys take a background from the area you guys are going to be from. That'll reduce your choices down from like 100 to say like 10.
Oh, so you can look at the regional backgrounds. I see.
Yes.
What did we pick? We picked
You
the
guys are
Saga?
the Saga lands.
Okay, I was like, we've already done so much.
I didn't, they have this on Archive of Nethys. Nice. So yeah, just go to the background section of Archive of Nethys, and at the top, there's going to be regional backgrounds, and you can scroll down. I believe the Saga Lands is towards the bottom.
Yeah, it's in alphabetical order.
You can also check out the general background section as well, if you find that none of those fit your character. And you'll notice that each background will give 2 ability boosts, one to a specific set of 2, and another one that is free. Which means that for the most part, you can get whatever stats you want with most of the backgrounds.
I think my background, the one I want is cursed.
Let's see here, because that is a rare one. Sure, you're free to take it.
Okay, because I have some ideas for curse effects that would fit my character idea.
No, okay. For the warding sign, well, first make sure you at the top of your character sheet you mark that you have the cursed background. And then for the warding sign, we'll actually add that as an action to your character sheet. And it'll be on the first page, and it's under your action section there. You'll be able to put in a reaction and everything for the warding sign.
Where would we notate if your background gives you a lore skill? Does that go under skill feat or
No, you would just give yourself that lore skill,
how?
as it would say. Lore is at the bottom of your skills. You'll see this big kind of white letter section that says lore. You'll hit the plus marker under that.
Thank you.
And yeah, it'll tell you kind of step by step. The concentrate section there is one of the traits of that ability. Make sure you put that in because certain effects prevent you from concentrating. And the effect you can just put under the description. And that arrow sign there on the Archive of Nethys, that is the reaction. So under action type, it'll be reaction. And make sure under trait you put concentrate.
I have another question.
Sure. I'm here to answer.
So, as far as right, I guess I am. Never mind, I just answered it myself.
Cool. Glad I could help.
Yeah, thanks.
So we can't double up on the ability score boost, right?
No, so this is a different section. Like I said, it's for each individual part. So now you
Okay.
can add to one you've done before.
So like I could get a charisma boost from class, right, heritage, and
Class heritage,
background.
and then you'll actually get free ancestry, background, class, and you'll actually get another free boost after that. So
Okay. I have no idea what's gonna be important.
as a champion, you're mostly going to be tanking with your armor, so con is good. Most weapons you use will probably be strength-based weapons, so strength is good. I think your abilities are based on your charisma, so I believe charisma is also good.
Okay. When it says one is a free ability boost, and I have a choice between con or charisma, and one is a free ability boost. Can I put both in con and charisma?
So you can't do two boosts of the same stat in any individual section. So under this part,
Okay.
it'll be 1 to intelligence and charisma, and then the boost can go to anything that you did not pick.
Okay.
And then Oracle, I believe, uses charisma as its casting modifier.
Yeah. So how do we mark the things we're trained in?
So under your skill section, you'll hit the little cogwheel there. And when it gives you a train proficiency in something, you'll just change your proficiency
I see.
rank to trains. And then for some skills, you can change it. Some of the lore skills, you can put your wisdom and some intelligence, but most of them are intelligence based, for instance. Like if you have like an animal's lore, you can put wisdom instead. But
Curse lore would be intelligence then.
curse lore is intelligence, yeah. and then most of them will give you a skill feat. And now for most of the skill feats in this game, you can go to the compendium, which on the right hand side of the screen, there's a little eye marker there. You can click that and type in the name of the feat, and most of the time, you can just drag it onto your character sheet. This feat will go under your bonus feat section. Curse Lord does not. What background did you end up taking, Slug?
Winter's Child.
Winter's Child. Make sure you mark that at the top of your character sheet under the background section.
Yeah.
So it says you gain the arcane sense skill feat that goes under our skill feats or our bonus feats.
It'll go under your bonus feat.
Okay, I messed up.
No worries. I mean, it works either way. The only reason why this kind of helps is just to make it kind of more. I can understand. I can like reverse engineer your character sheet to know where some things came from. Skill feats and general feats are like things you get as you level up. So if there's stuff in that section that like you didn't get from leveling up, it makes it hard to reverse engineer. But it doesn't really matter because it's very easy to guess sometimes, especially if you put your background on your character sheet.
We're gonna pretend I fixed it.
I am okay with that. Did you both pick Winter Child?
I think we did.
Yo.
Special. Or I'm just getting left out either way.
Hey, Slug can even be like the Leshy of like a witch's familiar, you know? Plant familiar. It is a thing. Witches actually have the ability to take Leshy familiars.
Would that be insensitive?
If you take one. I don't know, because you brought one to life, and you know, as long as you get strong enough, you're just bringing another one of Slug's people into the world.
From what I read, they're already alive. You're just entrapping them in a mortal coil.
Kind of. Most Leshies look very kindly upon the act, as is otherwise they don't gain sentience, really.
According to what I read, you're not like enslaving them. They have their own will as soon as you create them. So it shouldn't be too bad.
All right. With backgrounds done, we're going to go to the classes.
The easy part.
The easy part.
I'm just making the most difficult character with like one of the most difficult classes and a rare background and ancestry.
Hey, do you, you know? If it
It's just
makes
the
a good
most
story.
unlikely character.
So before we do anything else, just get things all nice and tied up. Your class has a key ability at the top of the class page that is going to give you a free boost. So we'll go into that particular ability score.
It's the same +2.
Same +2. And then one final one, you get 4 free ability boosts. This can go into the key ability you just got for your class as well.
What about our hit points? Are we doing that later?
You'll do the hit points for your class as well. We're just getting the ability scores out of the way.
Okay.
Just trying to make sure we're doing this in order so that everyone can, you know, hopefully have minimal errors on their character sheet.
So besides the key ability, we can add 4 more +2s.
Yes, and it can even go into your key ability.
I think I did the right amount.
Let's see. You got 2 for your background, or 2 for your ancestry, 2 for your background, 1 for your class, and 4. Yep, you're good.
Is this a good way to spread them out, or are you usually intended to?
I think you're
get it all
you're
together?
pretty good. It depends on your particular play style. A lot of people like to bump their decks a little more because it gives you AC, but I'm all for role playing over, stat efficiency. Yeah, everyone's good. So, looks like we got an interesting party so far. I don't know what Bep stats look like. Oh, good. You're all very spread out in your stats, actually. Strangely
I don't
so.
like clumping.
No worries. Okay, so before I forget, you get a number of languages equal to what it has for your particular ancestry and then intelligence. Most know common, probably 1 more, and then extra based on your ancestry. That section is at the very bottom of the right-hand side on the character page.
So we get the ones for our ancestry, and then we get so many for our intelligence, right?
Yep, 1 for your intelligence. Well, 1 per each intelligence point. So yeah. And then what your race typically, or your ancestry typically knows, is in the language section on your character sheet, or on your ancestry page.
Are these like in the languages it says choose from these? Are those just like the suggested ones?
Those are the ones that your race or your ancestry typically would know.
Okay.
So it's recommended. If you have a good reason why you might know a different kind of language, I'm always up for hearing why. I don't use languages overly much, but it's important to keep it in mind.
Okay.
Plus, I'm a rather spontaneous storyteller, so whether one comes up or not, I don't even know until the session happens. All right, on your class page, right underneath where your key ability score was, you get your class hit points. So hit the hit point modifier in the class section, put what you get for your class. It's going to automatically add your con. We're going to have some squishies in this party.
We're doing our best.
Actually, Oracle's not that bad. They have more than I expected.
Yeah, got 8. Flesh Whip gives me 10. That seems like a lot.
And 15.
Yeah.
Woof.
Yeah. I'm just gonna stand in the back.
I'm gonna stand behind you.
The potato will defend you both with their
Yes.
23 hit points. Okay. I was gonna say something, I forgot. Oh yes, because we're using this character sheet, when you level up, it'll automatically add your hit points for you. So you don't even have to worry
Nice.
about it now.
Nice.
Yo.
The only thing you'll have to worry about is if you ever get temporary hit points, which you have a little section you can add there. We use tokens a lot though, so you probably won't even mark the temporary on your character sheet. All right, scroll down on your character pages down to the proficiencies. And we're just going to be adding these to your character sheet. They're pretty self-explanatory. So I'll just let you guys kind of do as you may.
I will be right back.
Sure thing. Perception is not in your skills section. It's on the right-hand side. It's its own stat. It's used for a lot of important things. So that's where you'll add that one. And whenever you're changing a skill proficiency, just change the rank. If you have any questions on a particular skill and what it might do, I am more than happy to answer any questions.
I get one based on my choice of deity. Should I choose that later?
We can choose that later.
Okay. And then I get 2 plus my intelligence modifier, and that's -1, so I only get just one more.
No, it's minimum, or it doesn't go negative. So
Oh, okay.
you're already punished enough for being dumb. They don't need to do more.
Should I choose the one determined by my mystery later too?
Yeah, unless you already have an idea of what mystery you want to use.
So for mine, it says I'm trained in one skill determined by my patron. So I do need to figure that out.
We'll get to that next, yes. Everyone gets one. Cool. So that'll make that part easy. So don't worry about
Sorry,
that.
I walked
We'll get to
away.
that. No, it's okay. It's just funny that it all came like sequentially. There is no unarmed attack, or at least like unarmed skill section under weapon proficiencies. I always add one, but technically everyone is trained in unarmed, so I guess it's not necessary, but I always put it on my character sheet under the weapons proficiency section.
So I can't add like a train option. Like I can't choose one that I'm already trained in to make it expert, right?
Not unless something says you can do so, yeah. You can't
Okay,
do
that's what I
multiple.
thought.
Yeah. And then under the defenses section, towards the top of your character sheet where you have your armor class, you'll hit the AC cogwheel, and that will give you everything you're going to need for adjusting those proficiencies.
Is there a spot to put in trained in unarmored defense, or does it just assume you're trained in unarmored defense?
Unarmored is right down there towards the bottom of that section.
Duh. I can read.
It's okay.
Where is this?
At the top in your AC cogwheel.
Uh,
As a champion, you're just going to be trained in all types of defense, so you're going to be great.
hell yeah.
And if your AC didn't adjust, it's because you didn't put in your active section what one you're using or what proficiency you're using. We'll do that when we do equipment, but just remember that that will probably be something we might miss. So for slug, I'll say just make your rank trained because you're gonna be trained in literally whatever you wear. So. And that's going to be at the top it'll say rank for your armor class. Under traits, there's a rank.
Oh,
Just make that trained. Yeah. I guess everyone can do that because I guarantee you're going to be wearing whatever you're trained in. So everyone just make sure that that is marked as trained because it's probably going to come in handy. The champion might be more though. Do they start expert? No, they don't. Okay.
no.
Booter, don't forget your class DC.
Uh, where would I find that?
It's going to be right under your ability scores. Strange. The Archive of Nethys doesn't have your trained in class proficiency, but you will be. It's guaranteed. Everyone's trained in the class they take. It's very strange. But yeah, right under your ability scores, class DC. And then you're also going to want to change the. Go back to that real quick. You're going to want to change the strength marker there, hit the little arrow, and change it to charisma. And Bep, you're going to want to make sure yours is intelligence as well.
Where would I put in the spell training?
That is going to go under your spells tab. So the top there under spells, click that, and it'll just go under spell attack and DC. And make
So
sure.
I just make the spell attack and DC trained like that.
Yes. Also, though, you're going to want to change your spellcasting stat. They're innately intelligence. Yours are charisma. So go back into those cogwheels and make sure that they have the appropriate attribute.
Is my class DC strength?
What was your key ability?
Oh yeah, strength.
Yeah, it was either strength or dex, so you're good there.
Yeah. Okay.
And make sure you change your spell attack and spell DC at the top there too, Slug. And make sure you change it from intelligence to, I believe it's charisma. It might be wisdom though. Devotion spells. Yeah, they're charisma. Okay. Okay, we're looking good. Everyone pretty much caught up?
I think so.
I believe I'm good.
Yes.
Okay. So now this is the part where I get to help each of you with your stuff individually because there's going to be a lot of things we start with. So you're just going to scroll further down. We're going to be looking at your class features. I do recommend that for any of the class features that actually have mechanical benefits for you, put them under your class feats and abilities section. And we're going to be picking for Slug your cause.
Woo.
So I have a question. Is your character going to be evil or are they going to
I
be
have
good?
no idea.
Because you get different things based on what alignment you pick. I will say I'm not very harsh on my alignment choices. I do allow some flexibility. And even if you pick a particular cause, like you go with like the lawful good paladin clause because you like what it does, but you want to play a neutral good character, I can allow that. It's just your character focuses on those tenets, but then also kind of has their own morality choices kind of on top of it. So I'm not super harsh, but I won't allow a good character to pick evil tenets or vice versa. So and at the top of your character pages there, you should be able to have your causes, your patron themes, and your mysteries. And each gives you guys different things. So when someone is ready to add their stuff, let me know. But Slag needs to pick a cause. Bep needs to pick a patron.
I narrowed it down to 2.
Yeah, you have a really easy one. Booter, on the other hand, is going to have a hard time.
Yeah.
Because I think there's 18 mysteries, if I'm not mistaken.
Where are the mysteries?
At the top of your character page there on Archive and Ethos, in the subtext bar, it's going to be the far right mysteries.
The one I didn't read for some reason.
And I was way off. There's actually not as many mysteries as I thought. There's only like 8, but that's fine.
The only thing is that I'm stuck between 2 patrons and I don't know which one to choose.
Well, you wanted to do the primal magics, right? So that'd be probably winter. Because your patron also decides what spell list you pick from.
Yeah, but do I have to pick like an actual like deity patron or just the winter subset?
No. Witch patrons are rarely deities, actually.
Okay, good.
Patrons are just any being of supreme power has decided to give you gifts, whether you stole them or otherwise.
Then yeah, we're going with winter.
Okay, super easy. That just changes your spellcasting proficiency to primal.
So under magic traditions, would I become trained in primal?
Yes. And you also gain the skill nature. You become trained in the nature skill.
What if I'm already trained in the nature skill?
Then you can pick another one.
Okay.
Free choice.
Okay.
You get one of my favorite cantrips in the game, Clinging Ice. It's really fun.
I've chosen. I'm a liberator.
Liberator. The mighty potato liberator. Freeing all the tubers. Chaotic good. Oh no. He's a chaotic good potato champion. All right.
So then where would the hex cantrip would just go under my cantrips, right?
Yes. And then you're going to want to open the cantrip up and make sure that everything is kosher. Because sometimes they'll like default to like to arcane for some reason.
My roll 20 just crashed.
Oh, poor roll 20. All right, Liberator. So you get the Lay on Hands devotion spell. So on the compendium, as I mentioned before, you can click that, put Lay on Hands. You can drop that into your focus spells section.
So then for this hex, would I change it to primal spell for the magic tradition?
Yes. And make sure it uses your proper attribute. Let's see. I think that looks good.
Where does it show whatever attribute it's supposed to be using?
I guess it doesn't on this one, which is fine.
Okay.
And open up. Oh, 1 second. Is this just Yeah, so 1 second here. Because I think Roll20 is not perfect, obviously. Yeah, it's not a spell attack, it's a saving throw. So we turn the
Okay.
spell attack off.
Okay.
And normal, reflex, DC. And yeah, and then as you level up, your cantrip will automatically level with you. It'll always level to about half your level, so that will increase its damage as time goes on. Because you see there, the heightened effect, damage increases by 1d4.
Nice. Okay, and then the granted spell would go under my spells, correct? I know that sounds like a redundant question, but
Yes, that goes under your spells. And Slug Land Hands is actually a focus spell, not a normal spell.
Oh, oops.
and since I'm granted Gust of Wind, even though it populates automatically as an arcane spell, do I change it to a primal spell?
Yes. Like I said, you want to make sure your spells are all copacetic, so always open whenever you add a new one. Make sure everything is good.
How do I get rid of this?
You get rid of them by hitting the little luck at the bottom right corner of each section.
Ah.
There you go. I love clinging ice though. Just because it's just like you point on someone, they either take cold damage or they get slowed and cold damage. It's good. You're also a prepared caster. It doesn't really matter all too much, but on the left hand side, I just hit prepared. How you doing, Booter?
There's a lot to read in these.
yeah, there is.
I'm on my third one right now.
All right. Well, we'll get back to you, I suppose. For Slug, you get your liberating step reaction. So on your front character page.
I think I also get detect magic from my background as an innate feat.
Arcane Sense. Which you can put detect magic in your innate spells section if you want. And I probably recommend that for you as well, Beth.
Yep, I'm already doing it.
And you don't need to worry about any of the stuff under detect magic. It is not really affected by stats. So.
Because it said it's like an arcane innate spell, so I was wondering if I had to do anything with that.
No, not really. Detect magic always does the same thing. I don't remember if arcane sense makes it heightened for you or not. 1 second.
It's
No,
if you're a
you have to be
master
a
in Arcana,
master.
and I'm definitely not.
Okay, yeah. So That's the only thing is if you actually learn Detect Magic, it heightens with you. This one is just going to be the standard level, so you'll be able to detect a faint sense of magic. More or less is how it works.
On the side where it says spell slots per day, would I fill as a witch? Would I fill that in like for cantrips? Would that be 5? Because that's what the table says.
No, that's how many you have prepared.
Oh, okay.
The
So I
spell
can
slots
have
per
up
day.
to 5 cantrips.
Yes, but you know 10. It's a little confusing, but you know 10 and you can prepare 5 of them a day.
Okay. So would my cantrip level be anything right now, or was it just...
It's your cantrip level is going to be 1.
Okay.
Because it'll equal to half your level round up, so.
And then spell slots per day, I have 2 first level spell slots?
So you're a prepared caster, so you don't use the spell slot section. You'll give each spell a number of slots that you've prepared.
So like my daily uses.
Yeah, so the difference between spontaneous and prepared spellcasters will know more spells, but they have to prepare their spells that they're taking into the field with them every day. While spontaneous just knows the spell and use their slots to cast them. It's a little complex, but once you get used to it, it gets a lot easier.
Okay. So do I need to put anything in daily uses right now?
Not at the moment. We'll worry about that when we start adding to your spell sheet.
Okay.
So, you got your stuff. That's good. That's good. Right. Liberator action. There you go. Nope, that was right.
Oh, I can't just drag it in?
No, I don't think so. Maybe.
Okay.
Can you type in liberator and pull it onto your character sheet? I don't think you can, but or liberating step.
I cannot. Sad.
Yeah, sad. There's a lot of basic class features that don't do that, so it sucks. Roll20 is so good. It has so many of the good features, but this is one of the parts where it fails. So that little backwards arrow, as I mentioned before for Booter, means it's a reaction type action. So under actions, you're going to type reaction. Good. Got it. Excellent. Yeah, it's pretty self-explanatory.
Oh, wait. Oh, wait.
All right, good. And at the top there, and under like the kind of the description of Liberator, there's kind of 2 bullet points. On your notes section, you're gonna make a like a part that says tenets, and you're gonna put those under your tenets because these are kind of like the laws of your character.
Okay.
This will just be easy to have them kind of in one easy to see place. So on your notes, just type like tenets and then like give it a space under, and then you can put the bullet points. There's a second N in there. Oh no, never mind.
It's there.
No,
Oh.
I was wrong. I don't know how to spell. It's okay.
Wow.
I'm here to tell stories, not write books. You can put hyphens at the front of them just to make it easier to like identify them. Alrighty, so now that that's done,
I have chosen.
You have chosen. All right. What did you choose?
I'm gonna go with bones.
Bones. I mean, that makes
Bones.
perfect sense. Okay, cool. Um,
The more I decide stuff about this character, the more funny it would have been if I was a Leshy, and the more suited it is that I'm a flesh ward.
all right, so your mystery benefit is going to go under your class features section, your class ability section, and your feat section. Blah. Blah, blah, blah. So uh, you're just going to call it mystery benefit, and then you're going to put all that in the description section. And then on that same page, you're going to put your minor curse, moderate curse, and major curse.
Just under class feats and abilities.
Yeah. So you're going to make individual ones for your minor curse, moderate curse, and major curse. And you're just going to copy and paste those effects. Let's see. Minor curse. So everyone gets to know what you can do when you start using your weird powers. Bones protrude through your skin and flesh begins to rot, combining with the stench of decay and unearthly chill. Non-magical effects that would restore your hit points only grant you half as much HP.
Fuck, dude.
Now imagine if I was a Leshy instead of this hideous flesh monster.
Ew, a potato with bones in it. I hope you're happy with your monster.
So I am. And that was only my weakest curse.
Yeah, yeah. All right, cool. On your character part or character sheet part, you become trained in the medicine skill.
Yep.
Booter knows all about anatomy.
Apparently. And no one knows anything about my anatomy.
Yeah, it's true.
Then these spells I get, do I just put them under?
So, granted cantrip goes under your cantrips. And when you add it in, make sure that it is using your divine proficiency. And then I believe you start with Soul Siphon. Yes, you start with the Soul Siphon. And that will go into your focus spells. Oh no, don't listen to Devin. He wants you to take the ooze dedication so you can become an ooze morph.
Yeah.
That's terrible. Just make your character as disgusting as possible.
Yes.
Oh, Booter, you can type in the compendium chill touch and drag it onto your character sheet.
Where's the compendium?
On the right hand side on Roll20, There's a little I tab there next to the handout section. Stop saying ooze. Chat, you're not helping. No. And then as I was telling Slug, to remove the one you did before. Oh God, why do you have so many chill touches?
I have so many chill touches. I've made a horrible mistake.
hit the little lockbox at the bottom, and you can delete them. You're gonna want to delete the There you go. And then open up that one you got. Make sure it's Magic Tradition Divine.
Nice.
Nice. Okay. So this is going to be the fun part for two of you, anyway. Slug, you're going to have an easier time.
Yo.
So for Booter and for Bep, you're going to be looking at your spell lists and adding to your character sheet. And because you're a repertoire caster, Booter, you're just going to know a certain number of spells, but you're going to have free access slots. Now, the thing with this that kind of gets a lot of people confused coming from 5e is when you learn a spell as a repertoire caster where that uses their spell slots, you only learn the spell at that level. So if it's a spell that can heighten to like a greater effect, you actually have to relearn the spell at a higher level.
Oh, dang.
Yeah. So that's kind of the benefit that prepared casters get, as a prepared caster just needs to learn the spell, and then they can prepare it in their daily preparations at a higher level. You can also retrain spells, though. So even if you learn a higher level spell, you can just swap the lower one for a different one. But it does mean that you can't like cast them at any level that you have access to.
I see.
So for Booter, you learn 2 first level spells and 5 cantrips. So you're on the Archive of Nethys. I recommend going to the spell lists. And
Oracle focus spells.
No. You're gonna go to the spells on the left-hand side under spells and rituals.
And
Divine. And Bep, you're gonna be looking for primal.
Yes. So I was looking with my spells. Do I just need to prepare 5 cantrips and 2 first level spells? Because they come from my familiar, so I didn't know if I needed to have those all written out.
The cantrips is kind of the one that I well, first of all, you should have a list of your spells that you at least know somewhere in your character sheet. So if you would like, you can go to your notes section and have a prepared spells section for your notes and just have it written down there. And then you can just have whatever spells you have prepared that day and drag them onto your character sheet as an easier way of doing it. It does mean that you have to like delete and add spells all the time, but the system mostly makes it easy because you can drag most of the spells. Some spells you can't, unfortunately. They come from non-core books, so you'll have to type them in. But most of them, the grand majority, you can just drag and drop onto your character sheet. And Booter, Soul Siphon is not a spell, it's a focus spell. So you need to move it to your focus spell section.
So I should write down, just so I have them, like 10 cantrips, but then only prepare 5.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna do it, and then you're gonna have to check my work.
Yeah, no worries. I'm personally someone who just puts them all on my spell sheet, and then I just, for the ones I have prepared, I just put like one in the daily uses part.
Oh, I can do that? Because that's so
Yeah.
much easier.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna do that.
Okay.
But would Clinging Ice, does that count as one of my familiar cantrips, or can that one just always happen?
No, that's a hex cantrip. It's special. Technically, it's a focus spell, but it's a focus spell that doesn't use your focus points.
Yeah, I read that.
And it's always prepared for you, so you don't have to worry about that.
Okay, so Clinging Ice, I can just always put like a little one in the daily use or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
And Booter, you're gonna be looking for 5 cantrips as well, and you're just gonna be dragging and dropping them onto your character sheet.
Yeah.
All right, so for our champion friend here, you need to look up the deities and pick a god to follow. Under the deity and cause section, there's a deity that's underscored. Click that, and that should take you to the list of deities.
I'm there.
All right, good luck. While you're all doing that, I'm gonna use the bathroom real quick.
Wait, real quick.
Sure.
Does it matter if it's PFF standard and PFS restricted?
No, because we're not doing Pathfinder League.
Oh, okay. I didn't know what
So.
that was.
Yeah. That's Pathfinder League. That's just the official Pathfinder to kind of mimic the Adventures League.
Okay.
I don't care all too much. And as far as your god, all you have to do is do follower alignment. You don't have to worry about the god's alignment as far as like your cause is concerned.
Uh-huh.
So that should give you a lot more breathing room.
I don't know what my 5th cantrip should be.
Good old guidance.
Yeah, you know.
Did you also get guidance? Oh no, you didn't. Okay.
Well, I have more just because of how mine works, but I'll only get to prepare 5 a day. But I have a lot in there.
I was trying to decide between guidance and message.
If it helps, I took guidance.
That does help. I'll probably just take
May-
message then.
I might not have it all the time, but I have access to it. Oh, why are there so many first level spells?
My absolute favorite divine cantrip is summon instrument. To just conjure a musical instrument.
That's a good one. Especially if your character is super extra.
Yeah, which mine isn't.
Are you sure?
Does it matter?
I'm sure he has
Mine
extras
is
of a lot of
super
things.
normal. I mean, he has a few like extra digits, but
I did have a question. When I put the
Sure.
cantrips in, they all had their different magic traditions. Do I need to change all of those to primal?
Yes.
Okay, I'll go back and do that in a second. Would it be the same for the spells?
Yes.
Slug, are you
Does it
a Healy
matter?
boy?
Yes, I'm a paladin, bro.
Yeah, I was asking if you're taking like
You're a
Healy spells.
champion.
I'm a champion.
He
I already
doesn't
have.
take spells.
I have
He
lay
has
on hand.
just lay on hands,
I
which
have
is
lay
a
on
decent
hands.
spell.
Got it. Does it matter which category my deity comes from?
What do you mean? What category? No, that doesn't matter.
Okay.
You just need powers from some. Well, I guess don't pick a demon lord, but otherwise you're fine.
Coward. Pick the demon lord, I dare you.
I don't think
Also,
they can. I don't think there is
I
a
actually
good
can't.
one.
I can't pick a demon lord or an archdevil.
So what's up,
nope,
Up?
I figured it out. Sometimes I just have to talk and it clicks while I'm talking.
Glad to help.
Yeah, thanks.
And then Booter, make sure you mark that you're a spontaneous caster.
Okay. I definitely know where that goes.
It's just to the left of your cantrips there. There you go.
Slug, do you think you have enough healing? Because I'm choosing between 3 spells for my 2 spell choices.
Me, I have no idea. I don't even know what my spell list is gonna look like.
Ugh.
You have lay on hands. That's your spell list. Lay on hands is okay, but I wouldn't say it's a predominant healing. Granted, if you guys had no healers, you would still survive. I'm not going to kill you and punish you for not having a healer. So,
Coward.
That's what he wants us to think.
Exactly.
okay, if you guys are just running along and be like, "Oh, don't worry, we got potions," and you jump off a cliff, then yeah, there's no helping you. I'm sorry. Blood for the blood god.
could have best stat as my deity and get Tego Kagi as like their weapon.
I don't know what
Just
that
like a
is.
just like an iron like Wolverine claws like as that you hold.
Oh. Just go claw paladin, yeah.
Oh, that'd be so cool actually.
You can do it.
Could you take a look at those spells I just chose and give me your opinion on which one I should get rid of?
I don't think Spirit Link is going to be good for you. Yeah. I mean, it's okay if you really want to go with like a super durable build, but it's a spell that is siphoning health from you to give to someone else. That could be good or bad. It depends on your personal choice. Bane's a good spell. Bane's a good spell. It's
Yeah,
just gonna fuck with enemies. Thoughtful Gift is also super handy. It's a very underestimated spell, but just the ability to just bamf something into an ally's hands.
yeah, that's a
Uh,
real cool one.
and the good part about it is in this game there's an action economy. You get 3 actions essentially each round. It's an action to reach into your pouch and grab an item, and then an action to use that item. With this spell, you can prevent, say, Slug, the paladin, or the liberator, the champion, from wasting an action in the round by just bamfing a potion into their hand so that they can drink it.
Sounds good. It looks like I'm going to have very little direct combat ability.
That's also something I was just about to say is it's going to be really rough if you don't have any like good combat ability.
Yeah, I made sure to choose at least one damaging cantrip.
Yeah, the
There
one thing
aren't
I'll
like a
say
lot of
about
first level damage spells here.
not in Divine List, unfortunately. I think there's
Yeah,
one. Divine Lance is really rough. It does alignment damage, which doesn't work on most humanoid characters unless they're particularly powerful.
yeah, I've noticed that all of the damage dealing spells here are like only good on undead. So I'll just be
Some,
a support. That's
well,
fine.
it's okay. Once you get Spirit Weapon, then that changes. Spiritual
Yeah,
Weapon's so good.
I'll be support until I wreck everything.
Can you take a look at mine as well, just to make sure I did that right? Because I know I technically have a longer list, but I know I can only pick 5 and 2 respectively. I
5
tried
and
to
2,
balance
respectfully. On what?
5
Sorry.
cantrips, 2 spells.
Oh, you can only prepare 2 spells, and you
Yeah, sorry.
know 5. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Booter, I would say Harm is a really, really good spell. It's a really, really good damaging spell. Not one I would overlook for its damaging capabilities.
So I have it narrowed down to Milani and Bastet, but looking at Milani, uh, she has like a divine intercession thing. What is that?
Divine Intercession. And this is Belani or Milani?
Milani, Mila.
Ooh, I like her symbol. The Divine Intercession is not something you're necessarily going to have to worry about, or at least not in a short campaign. It's just if
Okay,
you really get the god's favor or piss the god off, bad things can happen. So,
okay.
bad or good things can happen, I guess.
So if a spell has heightened, that's just like casting at higher levels. If you get it at a higher level.
Yeah, so if it has a heighten, that means that if you learn it at a higher level, and if it's like +1, then it has a spell per spell level, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But if it has like +2 or +3, then it's like every 2 levels or every 3 levels it heightens. As a spontaneous caster, you'll have to learn them at higher levels. But that's okay because you can always retrain the lower version of them. Bane is a really good one because you don't really need to worry about heightening it. Same with Thoughtful Gift. Harm is when you're going to want to level as it goes because it gets bigger and bigger. But like I said, if you want some damage, Harm does what it says.
Yeah, I'll pick up Harm at a higher level. It seems like it gets really good once you start heightening it.
Yeah, that looks all good to me, Bep.
Cool. I don't have any of them marked right now because I figure when we play the first game, I'll
Yeah.
pick all of them out.
That's fair. I would recommend picking probably your favorite cantrips though. And the good thing is, if you guys hit that little lockbox in the corner there, you can actually drag them up and down the list to organize them.
Okay. Have my deity.
Okay, cool. What deity are you going with?
Bastet.
Bastet. Potato champion of Bastet. Tiger Claws. I love it. It's great.
So what's the divine ability?
Divine ability? Oh,
Yeah.
that's for something else. Like if you're playing a cleric, you can pick between those for your key ability for your class.
Oh, okay. So I just don't pay attention to that.
Yeah, don't worry about that. In fact, you're only really picking your deity for the sake of the potential domains that you'll get access to,
Ah,
and Bastet's anathema,
okay.
which means you can't kill or abuse a house cat. Reasonable. You can't abandon a child, and you can't choose to marry anyone.
Dope.
But you can be forced to marry someone?
I mean, if you're forced into wedlock, then Bastet's not gonna be like, well, you shouldn't have let them force you. So
Oh wait, do I worry about the favored weapon for the
yes,
deific? Okay.
because you get the deific weapon,
Yeah.
which is good because I actually believe that that weapon is the claw or tekogaki. Oh, it's not uncommon. Oh no, it is. Yeah. So the tekogaki is normally a weapon that you couldn't get standardly. Your character could.
Yo.
So at the top of your character sheet there, under deity, make sure you put Bastet. And let's see. I guess the last thing, and the feet. So you'll slug on your feet section. Under your bonus feats, you're going to add shield block. That one you can just drag and drop onto your character sheet. And then did you put your skill? Did you become trained in deception?
I did earlier.
Then you get a different
Okay,
one, whatever your choice is.
why am I getting deception?
Because that is your god's divine skill.
Okay.
Okay. And then neither Booter nor Bep gets a first level feat, which is very common amongst spellcasters.
Okay.
But Slug does.
Woo.
Oh, and then Bep, we need to do your familiar.
It's a black-footed ferret.
A black-footed ferret. So you get your choice. Some people want an extra character sheet for their familiar. The familiar is not a combat creature. Doesn't really do combat. It does have some skills. You can just make it an additional thing for your character. Like you can put it in your feat section under your class feat as a familiar. The biggest thing about familiars you really need to know is just what their master / familiar abilities are. So it's your choice. You can either have a separate sheet for it, or you can just add it on your character sheet somewhere.
I'll just put it on my character sheet somewhere.
Are you looking at the first level feats there, Slug?
Yeah. One second.
No worries. So while Slug is doing that, we'll have everyone else do some equipment shopping.
I gotta name the familiar first.
That's true. It is important. All right. So, question for you guys: how worried are you about your equipment?
I don't really. I'm super bad at shopping.
Same.
Eh,
Because I can just set you guys up with your basic equipment plus like an adventures pack and set you on your feet there to go. You technically start with 13 gold starting out. Your weapons and armor typically take good chunks of that, but beyond that, like, if you just don't want to do every little thing, an adventure pack is really good. Gets you a backpack, bedroll, chalk, flint and steel, rope, rations, soap. I don't know why every game has soap. I've never seen it ever used, but you know what? It's there.
it's used off screen.
Torches, water skin. Yeah, I know. It's just weird that like it's included. I don't know.
You just gotta write somewhere that your character doesn't smell of garbage all the time.
Yeah.
Real quick, sorry, I know we're trying to move on to equipment. With
Sure,
the
sure.
familiar, it says that they follow the rules of like
Of like a
channel your magic into abilities. So like, can the familiar's abilities change every day, or do I need to just pick 2 and keep 2?
I think you start with 3 because you're a witch. If I'm
I
not
have to look.
mistaken.
It is more powerful. It has an extra ability, so I get
Yeah.
3. But basically, do I need to pick 3 and keep 3, or do they get to change? Because it sounds like they get to change, but it's up to you.
Let's see here. Each day you channel your magic abilities into familiar masters. So your familiar could theoretically change every day.
Okay.
Now, I will state, I'm not overly picky when it comes to like the appearance of your familiar. It can appear even supernatural or otherworldly. It doesn't have to be something like a frog or a toad or whatever. In one of our games, we had a sorcerer who had like a small floating genie, like Ifriti genie thing next to him. The only thing that the rules specifically mention is that if you're picking like a frog or whatever, if you want it to do the things you want a frog to do, you have to take those familiar abilities. Like if you want your frog to be amphibious, it has to take the amphibious ability. It doesn't just innately get them just because that's what you say it looks like. Same goes for flight.
Yeah, I saw that part. So I just have to figure out.
What does it mean when it says that someone can step as a free action?
So the step action is like a 5-foot step. Your character moves 1 square. A free
Okay.
action means that it doesn't take up any of their round actions that they normally use.
Okay.
The additional benefit of a step is that it does not provoke actions that are reactions based on movement.
Okay.
So a 5-foot step would be like they couldn't get attack of opportunity, for instance.
Uh-huh.
I'll be right back.
A talking ferret.
Yo.
Yeah.
I think everyone demands that the ferret talks.
It talks now.
Does the ferret have any articles of clothing?
I have to figure that out now.
A teeny vest.
Because no matter what you say, I'm gonna imagine it with a very small top hat.
So was I.
Hera, the tiny gentleman.
Whenever we get into social situations, we just let the ferret do the talking.
Oh, yes, Bep. You also learned the phase familiar hex.
Oh.
It's
Oh,
a part
that's
at the
right.
bottom
I
of the
remember
hexes
that.
section. Yeah.
And that would go under my focus spells, right?
Yes. Yes.
Did we already do feats from like ancestry and stuff?
No, actually, I don't think I had you guys do that yet.
Oh.
So we should probably do that.
I'd put a couple down, like my winter catfolk and laid on your feet, but
Yeah, but you do get a ancestry feat at level 1. I think it's because we were picking. It took a while to pick between what heritages you guys were selecting from. So. So we should do that. You get a first level feat, as long as you make from your ancestry, as long as you meet the requirements. Did you pick your champion feat for level 1?
I'm just deciding between Desperate Prayer and Deity's Domain.
Deity's Domain is really good.
Because I already have the domain I would pick out, so I know what spell I would get. So it's either Desperate Prayer or Learn Vibrant Thorns.
I mean, I always go with the domains because domains are really cool, and getting domain spells are awesome. Desperate Prayer is really good because that will allow you to get a focus point back for using your land hands if you need it desperately.
Yeah.
So Desperate Prayer is also really good.
You say that they're squishy. I think I gotta go
There's
Desperate Prayer.
they're as squishy as you let them be.
Yeah, I'll go Desperate Prayer.
Okay.
So would that go in actions?
No. So when you drag it onto your feet section, it will automatically add to your actions, and you're gonna put that under your class feats and abilities.
No, it won't let me drag it.
All right, it should.
I don't know, it's just APG after it.
Yeah, that just means it's in the advanced players guide, but we have it on Roll20.
so we get one ancestry feat, and that goes under the ancestry section.
Correct.
Okay. Ugh, I'm gonna have to type it out.
Gross. They didn't add it to the compendium for some reason. So you'll just have to add it. That sucks. It should be there. Oh, well, ancestry feats you guys are going to have to because most of them are core. I was talking to Slug because she selected one that should be there and isn't. At least it's a really easy feat to put the information down for.
True. I mean, I have to go back and add it to my actions.
Yeah, that'd be best. Just so you know it's there. It's the easiest, so you can just easy recall it.
Okay, whatever we do, you guys, we can't leave the north, or else this feat becomes useless.
First
Got
thing
it.
I'm gonna suggest, we meet each other, and I'm like, "Hey guys, let's go south."
Go to the impossible
It's a
lands.
bit cold up here,
Let's go
huh?
to the place with the desert, with no snow or ice.
Man, I didn't realize it was gonna be so cold. Let's go somewhere tropical. So, I looked up the feat, and there's just this archetype that has the same name, but it's the vigilante archetype.
Oh. The vigilante archetype is fun. You just get a different identity.
There's one, and that's the only thing under the feat. I guess we gotta type it out. It sucks.
Oh yeah, you have to type out. Ancestry feats you're gonna have to do by hand, unfortunately, because Roll20 won't put the extra world material in for whatever reason.
Where do I put Vibrant Thorns in? To?
That is going to be a focus spell because domain spells are focus spells.
Okay.
Whoever wanted me to make the most hideous creature, I'm doing you good with this feat.
You should be able to pull Vibrant Thorn onto your character sheet.
I did.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Weird. Has domain in lowercase nature. Usually they're uppercase. Oh well. Now you're gonna be a thorny potato with claws. It's gonna be a fun group.
Yeah.
And then I believe you need to pick an ancestry feat, Slug.
Okay.
Is it common to be trained in more than half of the skills?
I mean, if you're a rogue, you can be trained in all of them.
Wow.
Yep, rogues get 7 plus their intelligence modifier.
I hate that. Rogues in every game are just
Rogues in
stupid.
every games are like that. They just have a lot of skills. Investigators too.
Nice.
All right, Booter. It looks like you're all set on everything.
I think so.
Just need equipment.
Yep.
Okay.
I think I'm in the same boat.
All right. Are you guys trained in light armor?
I am
Uh, no.
Only unarmed? Ooh, woof.
Unarmored, yeah.
wrecked. Light armor me up.
Okay. Go to the equipment section. Let's see. What is your modifier, Booter, for your dex?
1?
1? Okay. And then what is your strength?
0.
Okay. So I would recommend padded armor. No, I would recommend, sorry, I'd recommend leather armor. And you can actually click, drag. So on your character sheets, your armor is going to go into your worn section. And that little shield next to it means that your character is currently wearing it. So if you go back to your front page, it should indicate that you currently have that armor on. And make sure you get that bonus. It should be a bonus of 1 for you.
Yeah, +1.
All right, and weapons. I think you're both simple weapon users.
Yep, and unarmed.
Yeah.
Archive and Nethys, really? Did you not separate these into simple and martial?
Can't have everything.
They're so good, though, in so many ways. Oh, no. Oh, okay. The simple ones, if you look under category, the simple ones are towards the top, though, so it'll go simple, then martial. Okay. You're both spellcasters, so I do recommend having a one-handed weapon of some variety because you usually need your other one for gesticulation. And then Slug, did you get your ancestry feat?
I did. I got Leshy lore.
Leshy
Or
lore.
what was it? Yeah, Leshy lore.
And did you add the lore skill to your?
I did.
And it says you became trained in nature and stealth, I think.
Yep,
Did you have either of those already?
I did not.
Okay. Cool. Cool. You're the one who's gonna have the highest armor.
Let's go.
What's your strength?
13. No, 16. Sorry. It's 3
16.
modifier.
Yeah, okay. Good. 16 gets you through most. The breastplate is the highest you can wear while still getting a weapon. Or you could spend
Okay.
all your money and have no weapon to get a split mail.
Well, I don't know. Sounds worth it, but also doesn't. Let's just go breastplate.
Yeah. So grab a breastplate, plop it on there. It will give you a penalty to your movement.
Damn.
Oh wait, it might not because I think you have the requirement. 1 second. Nope, you won't have a penalty because you meet the strength requirement.
Yo, strong potato.
Strong potato. All right, cool. It should add pretty much everything onto it already. So second you drop it onto your character sheet, it should all show.
It did.
Sweet. And then the Tekokagi, and that will go into your held. Yep. And then technically, you can still wield a shield with it. And in fact, there's really no reason not to wield a shield with it because having two isn't going to do you any good. So I recommend grabbing a steel shield as well.
Okay. Sad the Tekokagi isn't showing up.
You know, I'm not surprised. Let's see.
The bulk is L. What's that?
So in this game, bulk kind of goes in like one of two ways. It's either a bulk with a value or a light. Light's bulk is essentially 1/10 of a bulk. So when you get 10 light bulk items, it equals a single bulk.
Yeah.
So under the bulk section there, you want to change that 1 to an L.
Oh.
And the one at the top as well. The top one needs to be an L. The bottom one needs to be a 1. Because
Oh.
it's bulk quantity because you have one of that item.
Okay. Ah.
I wouldn't necessarily worry about the rest of it on this part then. The rest of it you can just put on your attack section.
Okay.
So on your character sheet, scroll down. It's going to be your melee strikes. You're going to hit that plus marker there. And then how are you two doing, Booter and Bip?
We probably can't get uncommon weapons, huh?
Nope, not unless you have some feature that allows you to do so.
Sad.
I want to give myself a dagger.
Dagger, 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 dagger.
Dagger, dagger, dagger.
Slug underneath the modifier there. Hit check the agile box because it's an agile weapon. And then make sure next to the strength there you make it trained because you're trained in that weapon. The traits, you can either copy and paste the traits on there or just type them in by hand. Should be on the Tekogaki's page.
Yeah. Put all that in.
Ooh, it's a parry weapon too. Interesting.
Yeah.
I wanted to get a parry weapon, but nightsticks are.
Harry the platypus.
I heard that in Doofenshmirtz's voice.
As you should.
I think I'm gonna go with sickle.
Okay. And then make sure you change that dice and damage there. Yep, you're doing good.
Do it. The D6, right? Because it's my deific weapon.
It doesn't increase because you only increase unarmed or simple weapons. This is a martial weapon.
Damn.
To be fair, it's a martial weapon that has a lot of features on it. Also, parry's really cool.
Yeah, I really wanted it. It's so uncommon in weapons.
You can just turtle up on your team, parry with your claw, and raise your shield, and get a plus. Oh no, it's circumstance to that is the shields. I think you can't stack them actually.
Oh. What shield did you say I could add earlier?
For what? Sorry.
It was a shield. Which one did you say I could add?
The steel shield.
That goes into held items?
Held items, yeah.
Yeah.
And it looks like it should already have dropped under your AC there. Just double check to make sure.
It did with shield, yeah.
Yeah, they're both circumstance bonuses. Sad.
Should I get a shield? I feel like I need a shield. Can I use a shield?
I believe so.
I feel like that's important for somebody who can't wear armor.
Check here. Yeah, anyone can use a shield.
What?
Can I have a shield?
Yeah, you can take a steel shield if you want.
But then we couldn't use the shield and weapon at the same time.
Nope, not for you spellcastery types anyway.
Just, what? It's not like we're really in the melee much, anyways.
Bet.
That was a really good
now.
hit for a level 1 character.
The
You rolled a 17. Jesus. All right. And now, under your worn item sections, you're all just gonna put in so you're gonna put a backpack, and I think you just
Does
drag a
shield go
backpack.
under held?
Yeah, shield is underheld. And then under the worn items, under your backpack, you're gonna actually open that up, and we're gonna put your adventuring gear in it under the notes. Under the notes section, just go ahead and remove like what it talks about for the backpack, or put that in the misc section. Though do remember that it does add to your encumbered, so you add a 2 modifier for wearing your backpack. But we'll do that here. But all your items are going to go into your backpack. And if you just type in the search bar, like pack.
If you type backpack, it comes up.
Yeah. You can get the adventures pack and you just copy and paste that straight into it. and then you're going to change the bulk of the backpack to 1.
Oh my god, I keep clicking on things.
No worries.
So we don't need
Okay.
the actual adventurer's pack. We just need the stuff in it to go in the backpack.
Yep.
Okay.
Mostly because most of it doesn't have any actual like function to it. But if I want to like verify you guys have items, you can click your backpack and you guys can show me what's in your pack, essentially. And this is good for you guys too to keep like account of what y'all have. And you can organize it to make it more easy to like read if you so choose. However you want to keep track of your gear. I'm also going to give you guys 1 belt pouch and a bandolier, and those are also going to go into your worn item section.
But the adventurer's pack comes with 2 belt pouches, so would you have 3 belt pouches?
Oh no, I didn't know it came with belt pouches. Nope, never mind.
Wow.
Comes with
So
belt pouches.
deletes
Why'd you say things?
Sorry, my bad. Delete the belt pouches from the backpack and just drag 2 onto your worn item section.
Okay.
Belt pouch, belt pouch. And
So
what else? A bandolier?
And a bandolier. So this is where I really enjoy the game, but it's kind of micromanaging for some people. This game has an action economy for getting equipment out. If it's in your backpack, it actually takes 2 actions to get an item out of it and then an action to use it. But if it's in a belt pouch or a bandolier, it only takes 1 action to pull it out and then 1 action to use it. So belt pouches and bandoliers are really, really good.
You said backpack was 2 actions to remove, 1 action to use?
Yes. So essentially what happens is you have to interact with the backpack. You have to grab the item, then you have to use the item. But if it's in a belt pouch or a bandolier, you just grab the item, use the item.
I just wanted to write it down for my sake. I'll forget.
No worries. You guys will get used to it as it becomes like practical knowledge. Not only that, but in my rule set anyway, if you guys take a move action, a stride or a step, you can also interact to grab an item out of a belt pouch or out of a weapon sheath. So, in actuality,
like in the same action.
In the same action without anything extra. So you can actually step back from an enemy while pulling out a health potion and then chug it. And that'll still just be 2 actions, but you'll actually get to move as well. So just something I do to make the game feel a little bit flowy more, because no one wants to spend a bunch of their turn just getting an item. That sounds really lame. And then I'm going to give you guys I'm going to give you guys 2 minor potions. Except for Slug, you'll get 1.
Racism.
Well, unfortunately, you just spent more money on your gear.
Understandable.
For the potions, the minor potion of healing or healing potion, you're going to put that in your stowed items section.
And then we have to put it somewhere on our person.
And then you have to put it somewhere in either a backpack or a bandolier. And again, for the bell pouches and the bandolier, just move all the extra text to the misc section. It doesn't need to be there. It's not what we're using it for. And then you can put whatever items in there. And then in the stowed items section, Oh, yeah, you just change the quantity. There you go. Good. And then make sure you mark the quantity in Bandolier or, you know, in Bandolier or pack. So. And if you guys do notice, and one of the cool things about these character sheets as well, is if you go, once you're done, you go to the character sheet part, and under your actions, the health potion will be there.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so whatever potions you essentially equip to your character will be there, and you guys will just click them and use them.
Nice.
And then on the inventory page at the top, under your encumbered and maximum section, under the mod, put 2 because you have a backpack.
Cool.
Don't forget to put it. Yeah, there you go. Good.
Can't seem to find a potion of healing in the compendium.
Type in minor, MINOR, and make sure you're on the actual compendium and not on the handout tab. I do that sometimes.
F.
And you're complaining that you only get one, even though ours are probably just going to be used to heal you anyway.
That's probably true.
I have a spell specifically made for that. Just pop one right into your hands.
Don't forget, Booter, to increase your maximum mod as well. Okay, so that's it, I believe. We got our languages. That's something I usually forget. If you don't need a god, you don't have to put one on your character sheet. But if you do add it, it adds flavor and whatever. So something to keep in mind. Does anyone have any questions about the character sheet or how anything works? I'll be more than happy to answer them now.
No, not right now for me.
I'm good.
Okay. Then I guess before we end today, just tell me. Actually, I'm going to use the restroom real quick, but while I'm going to the restroom, I want you guys to think. Tell me about your characters. I want generally like the idea behind the character, what they're doing, what they might be like interested in doing as far as an adventure. Please note, your characters are adventurers. They're going to want to go on whatever, journey we're going to go. Don't make me force your characters to do it. So be thinking about that. I'm going to use the restroom real quick and I'll be right back.
My character wants anything but going on an adventure.
We actually hate adventure here.
I
We're
came
gonna
here to
settle
start
down.
up a small shop.
Yeah, we're opening a
Yeah.
tavern.
In a local town. I'm not interested in franchising either, so don't even. I want to keep it family run. My shield has more HP than me.
Same.
Can't relate.
You're a nerd. I wanted a weapon with parry so bad.
It's like steal mine.
I can't use yours.
Oh, get good.
There are only 2 simple weapons with parry, and they're both uncommon. One's just a nightstick, which is like it's a club with a handle on the side. So instead, I went with the one with trip instead.
I also have trip.
I hate you and everything that you stand for.
I have agile, disarm, finesse, parry, trip, and an uncommon on this one. And it's a brawling.
So you get an uncommon, huh?
It's because it's my deity's weapon, bro.
I hate that.
It's also brawling. If target must succeed at a fortitude save against your class DC or be slowed 1 until the end of your next turn.
That's if
Not
you
even gonna
get the critical specialization.
Okay.
Correct.
You'll get it
I'm not ever
eventually.
gonna pull the
but-
weapon out anyway.
All right, let's hear about your characters. I'm curious what you guys have so far.
Anyone want to start?
You got this, Booter.
Okay, I have put a lot of thought into this during our character creation. So, what were the questions that we were asked?
Just like what's your character? Maybe what they look like. Why would they be an adventure? Like what are their interests?
My character is a hideous monster. My ancestry feat is literally startling appearance.
Nice, that's a good one.
It is a good one.
You just open up and your mouth appears out somewhere, and people are like, "Ugh!"
Exactly. They are cursed. The curse I have in mind for them is related to death. And you said that the oracle's power came from like a concept or idea, and so I was thinking mine would be it would come from
It'd come from.
Oh, he died.
He's dead.
Oh no, he's dead.
Am I back?
Yes.
You're back.
Oh no, can you hear me? Whoa.
Yes.
Ooh. I could hear you the entire time. Nothing went wrong on my end for me. But
Sure.
anyway, my power would come from like the concept of time and specifically the effect that time has on the living. Right? And so it would make sense to have the curse be related to death and stuff. Like I had in mind like when he meets people or something, he like sees the scene of their death or something, and it's just like real traumatizing to meet people knowing how they die. Um, and yeah, he's just sort of like doing stuff. He wants to know more about his powers and like the just general uh, power, and he is very close to death and wants to avoid it at all costs. He wants to get away from it.
Okay, makes sense. I'm going to have so much fun with your character now.
I'm glad.
Who's next?
I guess I'll go since I put Booter on the spot.
Yeah.
I have the appearance and mainly where I came from, though not how I got connected with Bastet. I kind of wanted to be from, given the Winter Child's background, from like some like just a random witch's garden, and I just like happened to be entrapped in a potato from like a random string of magic that she had happened to do. And like just have like a black rose coming out of the top of the potato, which is where my face is. I don't know why, but
there's just this. Is the rose like on, or the whatever the bud is on top the potato, or is this like the scraggly neck that leads up to it?
there's a scraggly neck that leads up to it.
So it's just a potato body with like this little vine or stem coming up and then this face.
Yeah.
Lord.
Protect it forever. Okay, okay. Consider this. Witches typically have black cats in their house, so maybe you got connected in some way from it. Maybe the cat started talking to you one day, mysteriously, telling you
Cat
the
dug you
secrets of
up out of the
Bastet.
garden.
Wow. I'll think about it.
Also, you're a small creature, so you just have an itty bitty breastplate on. It's too adorable.
Now I'm just imagining that like the potato has nothing to do with you. You're actually just a rose that happened to grow like through a potato.
I'm stuck in this horrible body. This isn't even my true form.
Wouldn't it also be just like an abnormally large potato too?
Yeah, yeah. Shaped however oblong shape you want.
It's amazing.
All right, what about you, Beb?
My character is Fiola, because I already picked her name. She has only ever lived in one place for most of her life, with her family and kinfolk, and they kind of had a large group of family and extended family that they lived with. She isn't really content with just sitting around, though. She's tired of looking at the same snowdrifts and the same icicles, and she wants to see what else is out there and learn more about different cultures and people that she knows are out there. She just hasn't had the chance to explore and discover what more awaits her in this world. So she's just trying to get out and see what she can find along the way, and maybe make some friends, ask some questions, who knows.
Okay. So we have a curious catfolk, a valiant potato, and whatever Booter is going on
This
an
walking
adventure.
monstrosity.
Just slurps along.
My legs, I don't actually take steps. They just sort of like the bones fold over, like they work like tank treads.
God.
My
Just
bones are
roll
just
in the
like
hip
flipping
joint.
over each other.
Boans.
And it is the most disturbing thing you have ever seen.
I dare you guys to have a serious scene with Booter's character.
With the Boans.
Bowens. All right. Well, I did say that was the last thing, but I actually lied. I have one more last thing. I want to talk to you guys about what you want out of a tabletop. So we can do this one of two ways. Either you guys can describe what you like in tabletop, or I can kind of give you a small like survey, of a variety of aspects of tabletop that you guys can give me an answer to.
I mean, me personally, I like narrative and story. As far as like, if we're doing something, it's not necessarily for me important that it's driven by a quest line. It's more important that it serves a purpose for somebody, be it the entire party or just one of the party, depending on who the focus is on at the time. Um, so I enjoy that. Obviously, I don't mind a nice balance of combat and RP. If you have all RP, it gets kind of boring. If you have all combat, it gets kind of boring. So obviously something in the middle there for me personally is what I like, but I'm not the kind of person that wants to complete all the quests. I want to tell a good story.
Agreed.
Agreed as well.
No, I already took the agreed spot. You have to give an actual answer.
No.
So you guys have nothing to add on top of that?
Yeah, I'm easy to please.
Ooh,
What?
My computer was not great.
Stop talking.
sounds like he's in an aquarium.
It's better.
It is.
Is it?
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Doesn't sound like your computer's a motorcycle about ready to take
Yeah.
off.
My computer wanted to die just then. Also, I've named my character.
Oh, okay.
His name is Vile Creep.
Bio creep.
Vile Creep.
Vile creep.
Just disgusting and gross and absolutely awful.
So you say you're very story driven, are you?
I am. Just so you wait until this becomes a serious matter. I'm gonna play it off like a joke the entire time, and then like 4 sessions in, it's gonna hit real hard with epic backstory.
All right. I'm waiting. Okay. So it sounds like you guys like a rather balanced game with a good emphasis on player driven storylines. If you were to categorize yourself, would you be a reactive player or a proactive player?
I can be proactive, but I'm probably more reactive.
I tend to be more reactive, yeah.
Yeah, I have to agree. I can be proactive, but a lot of times I'm reacting to whatever is laid before me.
Okay. So in starting an adventure, is it an NPC that's going to motivate you to go on the adventure, or is it some strong cause? Like, how would you say for characters you play in general, like what gets your characters like involved and immersed into the story?
Um, I mean, for me personally, it really depends character to character. Like the character I play on Fridays, she's not super NPC driven. She's really driven more by her own self and her own um, thoughts, and she has her own motives, and that's what's driving her. But then, like the character that I'll play on Saturdays games is going to be more people oriented and is more, if you need help, I will stop and help you, sort of thing.
All of the above.
It just depends on how well the DM can execute it for me.
Okay.
I can
That's
do anything.
that's actually an interesting point. So you say it's like how well the DM can do it. Um, is it by like getting you motivated by like the storyline? Is it just getting the emotional feel, I guess, of getting involved in the story?
More of the first one.
Okay.
Yeah, for me, it's either like it's like important to like the overall story or like a character backstory or something, or like we get something cool out of it in the end.
Actually, that's a good point as well. How reward driven do you think you guys are when you play tabletop?
It's not necessary for me, but I am a greedy little loot goblin completely.
I mean, I can survive getting nothing, but if you're
Yeah.
gonna offer something, I'm gonna definitely take it.
I'm not highly loot driven. Just I have a harder time separating that from myself and being like, no, it's a fake game. You can take shit, and I'm like, I can't. I shouldn't really. No, it's fine. I don't need. It's okay. So I
One
have a
of
hard time taking
those.
things. Yeah.
No worries. As a DM, I really do try to. One, I really like to focus on particular character arcs, story arcs. I like to really focus on your characters. So the more you deliver for your character to me, the more I can give back to you. I recently just had a player's character arc, which was a really big thing. I think it was like 10 sessions for their arc alone. And it's just because that player came up to me and kept asking me questions and kept like expanding on their background. And for them, I ended up making a whole city and like 4 families of like they were playing a vampire in our game, and they gave me a lot of information, and I gave them a whole city's worth of it. So, you know, uh, whatever you guys give me for developing your characters, I will return tenfold. So if there's anything you guys are interested in, if there's anything like aspirations for your characters, let me know, and I'll be sure to throw it in. I'm really generous when it comes to like, especially like Pathfinder. There's a lot of things I can do. I'll just give you a feat out of the blue. Sometimes you'll get a rare item out of the blue. Sometimes you get an item that's above your character level out of the blue. Um, because I want you guys to feel like your characters are special, and playing around with magic items, seeing what kind of gets your characters flow going and really good. But I also want to make sure that I'm delivering an experience to you guys as well. So just something to keep in mind. The more you give me, the more I'll return. Uh, since you're all a kind of more reactive group, it's just going to take me finding the right thing to motivate your characters, whatever it may be. And I know for someone like Bep, probably a lot more character focus and like, what would my character do? So we'll have to get you to know your character first before we really like dive into it.
That's okay. For things that are not one shots, I accidentally usually put too much information in, so I already plan on like finding what I can read about the setting and coming up with some stuff for her and things like that.
Yeah, I do recommend if you guys have the ability to find resources. I'm not going to specify resources, but if you find resources of finding out like the world book, Lost Woman's world book, it's really good. There's actually nothing to really spoil you in it. It's all very general information, so you guys can feel free to read that to get more idea of the area, and don't worry about like spoiling any secrets about it. The books are pretty general. Also, something to remember is, as I mentioned before, when you guys hit every even level, you guys will be getting a free archetype dedication feat in addition to your class feats. So your character will have essentially like a different job on top of it. So be looking at those, because I'll use what you pick as kind of as a way of informing me of like what kind of direction you want to take your character, or what kind of thing you want for your character to develop as. So do check out the archetype dedications. On Archive of Nethys is actually really easy to find the non-class ones, because it has a section at the top that just says multi-class. Skip that. Everything below that should be good though. And of course, if it's a rare or uncommon dedication, just ask. Most of them are okay, but some of them are kind of like very regional specific. For instance, one of them, you need to get a stone from a desert region super south from here, and you need to get it from a sphinx. I'd be very curious how you got it. Not saying no. I just need a really good reason. Shut up about the ooze dedication, Devin. Stop it.
No, keep going. Keep going with the ooze dedication.
We don't need a character named Vile Creep getting worse.
Oh, I think we do. Vile Creep 2.0.
Vile creep the
deserves it.
ooze. Vile creep the moist.
He is very moist, but like in a super clammy way.
Every time you speak, I just want to strangle you.
And like if you were to like rub him, I can see his time. If you were like pet him, right? His skin feels almost like shark skin. It's like a little sandpapery.
Just trying, physically trying to make your character as unsettling and inhuman as possible.
Exactly.
Who needs tankiness when they can't hit your vitals?
Yeah. Who needs tankiness when nobody wants to touch me?
That's true too. But everything will kind of help expand your characters. I'm super excited. The witch is a lot of fun. The oracle is going to be crazy, especially with all the bone stuff and the foul stench. Oh god.
My body actively rotting.
Boans.
What benefit do you get for your moderate curse? I'm looking 1 second.
I don't even remember. I didn't look very hard.
Oh, you just become super resistant to poisons and disease and death effects.
I'm already super resistant to all of that.
What was the? What did you suggest that we get our hands on to read? What was that?
Lost Omens World Guide.
Lost, like Lost.
Yes, Lost.
Thank you.
You can also look up the Ancestries Guide for your races and the character guide for some of the races. The Flesh Warp is only in the Ancestries Guide, but the Catfolk and the Leshy are also in the character guide. But the Ancestry Guide expands them both as well. So if you guys want to put some in, and like I said, whatever you give me, I will give you back tenfold. So, you know, there's not too much you can do. Your character's just destruct. Your character just is slowly dying, but not actually dying, and becomes actually more resistant to death the closer you get to it. Essentially.
Exactly.
God.
Oh, also, an important thing to note. When for your minor curse that says that normal magic effects that would restore your hit points only grant you half as much, there are alchemist potions, and alchemist potions are non-magical. So, if you get a potion of life, for instance, it will only give you half as much health.
That is good to know.
That's actually funny. One of my players in my Tuesday game has the opposite effect. They from any like positive healing they can get, they get half as much, but for something like alchemist potions, they get the normal amount. So very interesting. Okay, well, I would have liked to have done a little bit more, but it's getting close to Bep's bedtime, so I'm gonna
We can
let
keep
y'all
going.
go.
I'm still awake.
Well, what I would like to do, and if y'all didn't mind, is I do have Jackbox, and just to have some fun on Jackbox, just to get to know each other, have some fun, do some fun games for a little bit.
I'm down with that.
I can play for like an hour.
Yeah.
Okay. And if you guys get at any point have any questions about your characters or anything, let me know. Also, this is going to be open to the chat. If anyone in chat wants to join us for some Jackbox, let me know. Let me go ahead and swap my scene over here. Well, first let me open Jackbox. I like games like this. It's a lot of like improv thinking.